Hello, and welcome to Depth Perception. We discuss movies and dive into how films direct the way we experience them. We create a perception of sound, a perception of sight, with a dimension of mind. We move into a land of both shadow and substance, of themes and ideas. I'm Mr. Vosley. Apparently also another Tin Man. But I got K-Max next to me.
Hello, hello.
And the OG Tin Man on my other side.
Thank you for having me back.
This week's episode brought to you by 2019's Parasite from Korean filmmaker Bong Joon-ho. Academy Award-winning movie and director. So I can't wait to discuss this movie with you guys. Lots of thoughts, analysis, much observation, much perception from this movie. And I'm hoping that each of us has quite a lot to say today. So, the itinerary for today. Initial reactions, like always. Theme and why, like always. But there's quite a bit of symbolism in the movie. We also got 2 scene perceptions. We're going to relate our discussion on poverty back to Bicycle Thieves and our first episode on the chapter of class and poverty, as well as, we'll say, social constructs' impact on the mindsets of the rich and the poor. And again, that's either film. But before I do that, I think it's only fitting the intro to our podcast. I think, because I was just at Disney, and K-Max was just at Disney a couple weeks before that. Mm-hmm. And if you are a Disney World fan, you might recognize most of our intro with select words moved around and switched out to fit our mission statement. So that's directly from the Tower of Terror ride. So like I said, I switched around some words in there to make it fit what we got, but that was kind of my homage to one of my favorite rides in Disney World. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Nightmare Before Christmas, when Jack is singing about he's trying to get the town on board with like Christmas, so he calls him Sandy Claus. He goes out to sleigh with his rain gear on. So, the play on words there make it sound like it's the same, but it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, a lot of feedback from last episode, a lot of passionate responses, and that's good. It is a good thing to have differing opinions, different points of view, different perceptions, different stances, and above all, acceptance that we're all allowed to have these differences. So, very good to hear people speak up and speak their minds.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, you guys, have you, was this your first time watching Parasite, or have you seen it before?
I haven't. This is my first, and I didn't. I mean, admittedly, I usually give them more of a look than I've gotten a chance with this one. I watched the first probably half with you guys at the shop, and if I'm being honest, probably the first quarter at the shop, and the second quarter about half asleep, waking up here and there. I'm surprised you guys didn't send me a picture of that one. I
thought about it. Tired. I thought about going over and then posing with you.
There was so many. There's so many times that I found myself half asleep, and it had nothing to do with the movie. It was just the fact that I just been a long stretch here. Mm-hmm. But I did get a chance to finish it. Admittedly, I couldn't get as much out of it as I normally can. Got a chance to watch not only what we did, I restarted it to watch where we right from the start, because I don't feel like I got a lot the first time through, mm-hmm. and then got through it and didn't keep notes. Usually I'll watch it an additional time to do some notes, and then so it just kind of I don't feel like I'm as prepared as often as I usually am, but I did watch it, and it is more fresh than any film that I've watched and been ready to discuss. So it's as fresh as it could be. I've just finished it with about an hour before we hit the tape, hit play.
Okay, nice.
That's good though, because I mean, I tried out a different perception last episode, and then so it's nice to have even different amongst ourselves our points of view and how we're watching these movies. So it'll be interesting to hear.
This will be a new one. I'll be like, yeah. Remember that one time when he bought that thing and he didn't have the money and then he lied? That was cool.
This is Chris Braley, and this is the Chris Braley Show. For any Chris Farley fans out there.
That's right. So, Paul, remember when you played with the Beatles? And, yeah, that was pretty cool. That's going to be me tonight.
Do you remember that? That was cool, huh?
That was cool. That was pretty cool, huh? He goes, yeah, it was cool.
Tin Man.
This is the first time I watched it was this week, and then I tried to watch it a second time. So I watched it once just reading all the caption because I it's all in Korean. Mm-hmm. It's also the first, if I'm not mistaken, the first Academy Award winning Best Picture film in a foreign language.
Sounds right.
So I watched it once, and I kept having to stop, go back, and make sure I read what the dialogue was, and wanted to watch it a second time just so I could actually see what was going on. So I got to read the whole movie. Let's watch this movie now. So then I got to watch it again, just trying to get the picture of it and see it a second time over, just to because there's a whole lot of symbolism. There's a whole lot of context to the story, and like, okay, is that meaningful? Oh, it must be. It showed up again. So much of it in that movie that I needed to watch it at least. And then I watched it again with you guys at the shop.
We got about 2/3 of it.
About 2/3, and so I'm almost at third time through, probably watching it now.
Okay.
But this week, this is the first time I watched it was this week.
So I watched it when it first came out. I don't remember if I went to the theater or not. But I definitely watched it twice right in a row. Watched it when I first got it on Blu-ray. And then watched it again this week. And then part again when we're all at the shop. But I thought it was just about the perfect film. Like, still after that many viewings, I didn't have any distractions, and each viewing had new observations to latch onto. I know when it first came out, I tried to talk a lot of people into watching it, but I don't think it was that many. I got as far as, it's this Korean movie. Oh, where are you guys going?
Like, which one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have people at work that I mentioned it to, and they were like, "Oh, that's a really good movie." So I'm like, "Oh."
I think there's multiple levels to how good it is, though.
Yeah.
From, storytelling, acting, story, symbolism, like just everything. And if ever there was a movie to say everything is on purpose, I feel like this is it. Dozens of trails to follow when I watched it a few years ago, and happy I still had these trails to follow during this week. And it really having the context in which we're watching this movie, like in relation to our class and poverty chapter, gives it such power, I feel like. Mm-hmm. So pretty cool watch this week, I feel. So unlike previous episodes, we're going to dive right in. And you guys have any, off the top of your heads, any favorite scenes? Because right after this, we're going to go right into theme.
Mine was a super simple one. When the houses, when they're spraying outside, they're spraying and they all go run to close the windows right away.
Yeah.
And is it the
bug
dad
spray.
who says, "No, free fumigation here.
Yep.
We leave the windows open." That one scene very it hit home a little bit because I can remember having the car in our, your car in the reservation. You got not dirt roads, but dirt driveways, long dirt driveways, and dirt all the time. Your car is always a mess. And I remember when it would be raining, my grandma would go out with like a bucket with some soap, so it'd be raining, and she'd go wash the cars, like
Nice.
wash all of them, and just like free car wash.
Yeah.
And I had that. I kind of, when we were watching that, I kind of felt that. I'm like, yeah, that's makes sense. I mean, I'm glad that we weren't breathing in bug spray like they all were, because you could see it got like and weren't even like bragging that someone could see. They could see through the. I can't remember. I was half asleep. Like remember someone kept working or kept doing whatever they were doing in the fog. They kept just.
It was the father.
Was it the
Yeah.
dad?
Because he was the one who said, "I'll leave it open, free
Yeah,
extermination."
and he was like unfazed by it.
Unfazed,
Yeah.
killed,
Just
still
kept doing his
folding
thing. That's right.
pizza boxes. They're folding pizza boxes.
They were folding the pizza boxes. That's right.
Or whatever it was, whatever type of food it was.
Yeah. That girl, that hustler there was,
I thought, I know it's pizza boxes.
I'm going to take
'Cause they tried
10%
to
off
sell
because
them.
the corners aren't even good.
Yeah.
But I thought that scene was real interesting because it also introduced like the setting a little bit, where they were living, to let you see that they were kind of in like a basement flat type of thing.
Their heads were barely above water, so to speak.
Oh, geez, yeah. Goodness, but I thought that was it seemed simple, but it was kind of like set the stage a little bit, and it made me recall my own little experience of. Hey, it's free. You got a freebie here. Don't let go of this freebie here.
Yep. Okay. I think one of my. I don't even know. That's a good scene. The first time they find that there's a basement in the basement. There's a sub basement.
Oh yeah.
So like when the former housekeeper, I think her name is Moon Guang.
Oh yes. That reminds me. Before we go any further,
Disclaimer.
yes, these are we do not speak this language. We apologize again for how we pronounce any of these names. We know we're going to be way off, but we're trying here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, continue.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's how it's pronounced. I heard it. There's a few names where it's spelled one way, but it's not quite how that sounds like they're saying it. So, but I'm pretty sure the former housekeeper, his name was Moon Guang, and she came back into the house, rang the doorbell till they let her in.
Mm-hmm.
She went to the basement, opened up the door, and then found out there was a sub-basement with somebody living in the house. Somebody latching on like a parasite. But that like opened up the next door. So I was like, oh, this family finally conned their way into, being everything that this family needed. You get a paid housekeeper, a paid art therapist, a paid
Driver.
housekeeper, a paid driver. Yeah. You guys are living it up now. And then to find that, there's someone else already latched onto them too. That like just opened up the door. It just felt like there was so much layers upon layers into the story.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where is it going to turn into now? So they felt like that opened just like this trap door in like as far as the story was, because I can see where the arc of the story is headed, and then there's a trap door, and then okay, now
I kept
where's it
getting
going
stuck
next?
myself. I kept getting stuck at like the social commentary of like the I guess the macro again, where instead of the micro of the between the Kims and the Parks and and even the third level guest.
Yeah.
I kept thinking like and I'm getting farther. I think the parasitic relationship between the rich and the poor, like it almost like slaps the face at capitalism. Like we say trickle down economics, Reaganomics, and we want to reward the rich for industrious and taking the risks at business.
Well, you guys paved the path.
Yeah,
You're set for life now.
Captains of industry.
And then like
Cheers.
now, and you hear so much on campaign trails, their fair share, pay your fair share. And I always think to myself, Dad being in business and whatnot like that, us being raised pretty poor, and then him risking much and Mom risking much and doing pretty well by delaying a lot of gratification, saving a lot of money, and then taking these big swings, and some of them paying off, some of them not paying off.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, whenever I hear pay your fair share, I'm like, let's talk about that term fair share a little bit sometimes, because I'm all for paying the right tax and even helping the poor beyond what the Bible says and what society says to do. I'm all for helping the poor because I are one, and it was one. So it's a really natural thing. But whenever I see this movie, I couldn't get past in the big giant pictures that it was showing to me about how sometimes political parties and folks think about like trickle-down economics, or do we provide for the people directly, or do we cheer for the rich to keep helping the others, pulling them up? And then what happens when they don't pull them up, when there's no civic mindedness to reach down and pull the next group up? I just kept thinking to myself of the levels of their homes, like the higher levels and then the middle levels. And
yeah. I was like, this is very on point. Hold on.
Well, I'm gonna give my my couple of favorite scenes. One was darkly funny to me, and I let Tin Man know about it. But it was when the parasite. Well, I call him Parasite. I can't remember his name.
I'll find it for you.
The guy living.
Gwang-se?
Maybe
It might be.
the guy that's already living at the very bottom,
Hiding from the loan sharks?
Yes.
That's him.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it wrong, of course.
So that guy, when he snaps, and he finally rises and he grabs the knife from the kitchen, he goes out to the party, and like you think he's got this determined walk and everything. He takes one step outside and he stops.
Yeah.
And he like puts his hand to his head, like the sunlight. He hasn't seen it in decades, probably. He's just
What was it, like 5 years, right? 4 years he was in the basement
Right.
for years?
Whatever it
so
was,
for
yeah.
years he hadn't seen
But
the sun.
he's just
like,
marching out there and hits the sun. Oh, he's got to stop and shield his eyes.
Easy, Nosferatu.
So just to think of that that reaction and context for that character as a filmmaker is like crazy to me, that you can add that nuance to him, like.
He's going out with his knife to
kill.
Yeah, he's on a mission.
He's like, hold on.
Well, hang on a second here.
But I think seeing the cunningness of our main characters once they get their foot in the door was one of my favorite things, because I think especially this time around, because we just watched Bicycle Thieves, where there was some decision making that our main character, some things were out of his hands, yes, and some things were within his hands that he let slip out, like paying too much for lunch, or leaving it, or walking the street without his kid, making sure his kid was safe behind him, stuff like that. And then you have this family who's very resourceful and cunning, and as soon as they get an opportunity, they're all on it. So as soon as the son gets in there, then it's all of a sudden, oh, well, I know this. There's one person I met in college that, my roommate's sisters, whatever he said, that, yeah, she might be busy, but she's one of the best, art teachers. Yeah, she's in high demand, but everyone that she teaches gets into college or whatever it was, art school, whatever it was, however he put it. So it was like to think of that on the spot, and like you see that turn into her getting their father in. So just that in this specific context, the parasitic, like, okay, one's in, let's go, and you see how that phrase turns about, like K-Max was kind of referencing, the term parasite. Well, who's the parasite here?
Well, the dad, this might be out of place, but the dad, even when you first start seeing his buddy come up the walkway and hearing him talk, the dad's very proud, saying, you could tell he's college. They talk differently. You can tell he's a college student. He's college educated. They act differently.
He's yelling at the guy peeing on the sidewalk in front of the thing, and he stands up to him and yells at him. He's like, "Oh, it's college man."
That's exactly. He goes. That's,
Yeah.
He's a college guy. That's what. So you can see he looks up to him, but he's like telling the rest of his clan there, "Hey, we got a live one here, maybe."
Yeah.
So let's get right into theme and why. Tin Man, I'm going to start with you.
Fine. I hate this. So here's what happened. I'm reading. I watched the movie multiple times, and for whatever reason, to come up with one idea that sums up the entire movie.
It was hard.
Yeah, that's why it's
You'd have to get
damn near
a
impossible.
little broad.
I got like wealth disparity creates conflict between classes.
Okay.
I wanted to get more
think that's
detailed.
good.
I wanted to get more to the point, enough where all the symbols being used throughout the movie could play into it, but that's as far as I got without it immediately like losing traction. Like I had a more detailed one, and 2 scenes in, it made no sense. Like, okay, gotta get rid of that one, gotta get rid of that. So that's where I just left it at that one.
Okay.
So I got wealth disparity creates conflict between classes.
You share multiple words with my theme.
Well, when you said it, I'm thinking that sounds right on the money.
Because I feel like there's way more to it, though. There's way more to it that it's wanting to say. But if I wanted to keep it broad, it's within bounds. You know, I don't feel like I'm stepping out of bounds with what the story's trying to say. But it feels vague but broad. Mm-hmm. But that's where I got. I could not tighten it up spots where I wanted to.
This
And I felt
movie
like
has a lot to say.
I kept losing it. If I tried to tighten it up anymore, I'm like, there's definitely a way to narrow this in, but that's where I got. You could see the issues on both sides of the class. There's definitely a distinct line. He mentions it between one side and the other. The Kim family, they start to use more than they need to be, and then it bites them in the ass for it. And then the other side of the family, there's a lot of symbolism, the smells, and issues that they have even after being given so much from this really wealthy family, even though they may not be deserving of the money because of how easily they're being conned. But the conflict starts to arise the more often they're together. They're finding it more and more, enough where it leads to a very bloody ending. There was, if I were to look at it, I would say there is shots at capitalism. There is shots at kind of like the institutional idea of the class structure, where it's like you stay down here, you go down your stairs, coming upstairs after you're invited, and then
Stop
as soon
it.
as
Stop it.
But
that's
not the time for that. That comes later.
Welcome, Bane.
so that's where I'll leave it at that. Then that's my theme. It's a vague one. It's a little broad, but
No, it's good.
it's not out of bounds.
That's good. Like I said, this movie had a lot to say. And so when it has a lot to say, you can only widen your scope to include everything. Before I move on to K-Max, I had this idea for a long time now. The coffee that we drink, off topic, of course, here. So the coffee I put on, I think it stays on for 2 hours. In every episode, you can hear when that 2-hour mark hits, and it goes beep, beep, beep. And so I always thought it'd be a fun Easter egg if you could catch it where it is in each episode. You can tell how long we've been sitting here before we started to
We
record.
film late at night, running on caffeine. So, and it,
It'd be 5 minutes in. We'd sit here an hour and a half.
sit an hour and a half before we started filming.
That's
recording.
about what we've done too. Well, to be fair, it was done brewing before you guys even got here, and then we talked a bit, and now we're
Basketball tournament to
Yep.
discuss.
here. Yeah. The three of us were involved in a basketball tournament, and
Victims of a basketball tournament.
A basketball tournament happened to us.
much like the family in this film, right at the basement.
We're in the
As
sub-basement.
soon as we think we're getting somewhere, life comes
Yeah,
and puts us right
washed
back
out.
where we belong.
When we're all like, yeah, this is going to be our house. You're going to marry the girl, and we'll this will be our in-laws.
Is this our in-laws?
There comes the water to wash us right down to the bottom.
James took his panties off in the limo. Wait, that's one scene.
Set a trap for the...
Also at the tournament, right?
I've heard that move before. I've heard that trap set before. Drug addict. What drug addict is leaving these
I
panties
invented
over?
this trick.
Too much. That was too much.
Anyways, K-Max, hit me with your theme.
That was it. That was it. Okay. I feel like I almost don't want to because my theme has I think I can't escape the fact that my theme has a symbol in it. Mm-hmm. But I'm afraid to do it because so I'll say this because it was so preeminent. It was so predominant in a lot of and I thought most of the movie. So I'll say this: the staircase is there. This is my theme.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to stop you.
The only time you can ascend it is by using all of your connections and all of your qualifications, whether they're real or not. I mean, I don't know if that's a theme, but I think that's what I see is like the movie's kind of about. Yeah, you can move. You might have to be dastardly to move up, but you might move. It might be temporary, or you got to use all of your resources and all your connections, like the college friend.
Yeah.
Then you get in because then the daughter pulls a shifty move, and now you're the dad. You all of a sudden you're the driver.
I would even go as far to add on to that would be it's almost completely inescapable because you can use every trick in the book and you still end up at the bottom
that's true.
At the end.
That's true.
Yeah, this ascension that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like you said, temporary. I would say facade.
Yep.
You know, where
yeah.
you can experience it, and we talked
Yeah,
about
we'll
this.
let you come and taste it. Yeah.
You know, just a taste here, but we did discuss that.
Then
in
a
our
taste it
first
shall be.
Man, we're all about Chris Farley tonight. But we mentioned that in our first discussion on class and poverty, this idea of just wanting to experience it. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want to have to do all of the work to actually escape it, but if I could just experience it through a scheme or a quick way of achieving it, that's what I'm after.
Right.
And we see that in this movie. So yeah, pretty interesting that we keep calling back to that first discussion.
I feel like the movie wants to tell us more about it being inescapable, but I feel like it's all these cons are all, like I'll get the not any delayed gratification. It's immediate. Everything is immediate gratification, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And so it's like what you want to say about that, what the movie wants to say, maybe, so to speak, wants to say about their unfortunate lot that they can't get out of. I'm like, they're also scamming and lying and cheating. Like everything they do is.
It felt a little bit like Shameless. You guys remember Shameless at all?
Yes.
Which is one of my favorite shows.
They're all hustles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you bookmark it.
Yes, it's a good thing when he stops us. It's a good. We're doing well when he stops
on the
us.
right path.
Yeah.
Tell you what we're going to be talking about. You're like, yeah, I'll talk about it now. I think.
It just says symbol. Don't get out.
I even told you at the start of the episode. but bookmark that point of view when we circle back to relating it to Bicycle Thieves. Though.
Okay.
Because it's very similar, where it's this mindset and.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
So my theme, I said, social constructs create social disparities. Very similar to what Tin Man had.
Okay.
Now, this is social constructs in
Count that as a win.
in the context of class and poverty. So money, wealth, property, family, government, education, etc. Construct creates the mindsets of the rich and the poor. So, I'm better than you because I have this education, this kind of car, this type of spouse, this home, this job title, or the aspiration to achieve those things. Kind of like you have it and I don't, or I have it and you don't. So these social constructs are in place to, and I'm just going to refer to all of these as the social construct because if I have to keep going back and say what they are.
Oh yeah.
So the constructs are in place to take advantage of those lower than you. And K-Max, you're gonna you touched on this with your theme, but even with merit and potential, the social construct is in place to keep those at the top where they are and those at the bottom where they are. And this idea of cyclical poverty. And I mentioned that in Bicycle Thieves, and I think we talked about that in our first discussion as well. And when I say cyclical, it's one replacing another. And you can see that with the family or the husband and wife that was previously underground. It was like they're being replaced by the new tenants, the new people dwelling at the bottom. So, what is his name? Keytech?
The dad?
The
Yeah,
dad,
Dad's Keytech, yeah.
Yeah. So you can see it when he takes a spot.
Yes, sorry.
And it was kind of this gesture. You know, I mentioned the previous guy go out there with a knife, start creating chaos back there. But the idea that when he drops the knife, who picks it up is Keytech. So like this idea where it's passed down, it's passed from one to the next. So replacing, you know, no one's ever moving up. You're just you're moving in. You know?
Yeah.
How'd you say that guy's name? You said it.
Is it GEUN -SAE? Is it Gensei? Again, I barely got Skora, barely got English. French,
yes.
I'm probably better at French pronunciation.
And from the beginning, the opening shot, the camera's moving down. And well, it starts off behind these windows that, to me, look like prison windows.
Yeah,
they got
too.
you know the bars, but then it goes even lower, and we kind of get this notion that these people at the lowest of the low, the bottom. You know, you have at the bottom of this staircase, at the bottom of society here. Well, they're even lower than that. And so, you know, the lowest point geographically and also socially. And you have the characterization of the rich versus the poor support this idea as well.
The toilet even sits higher than the table.
I kept thinking
You're
that
right.
too. It's elevated, yeah. Can't even access the.
So when we talk about merit and potential, the mother of the rich family is super naive and ill-experienced in life. Can't cook, can't clean. It seems like she can't even parent, apparently, but it's still higher class. And the husband, you know, he's got this job, but he relies on a maid to actually keep his home in order. You know, he comes home, it seems like he just has a snack and goes to bed. He doesn't really offer much else except for whatever his income is. And then you compare that to the poorer family, and that family is resourceful, smart, cunning, and experienced. So when I say experienced, you got a driver, you've got a maid, or, you know, she can keep a home in order. You have artistic skills, you have English, tutoring, cooking, cleaning, etc. And both parents are contributing to work. You know, when you compare that to the rich, is only one's working and they can afford this giant house. But the rich are the rich. And due to the social constructs these characters are in, the seemingly harder working, smarter, more resourceful people are not the upper class. And when I say smarter, I think it's a very on-purpose choice that the brother and sister are doing the tutoring for the rich family. Like, they're the ones teaching the young. And so I thought that was, like, pretty on point with, you know, here's how much more this family can offer. but they're still going to be on the bottom. And we'll go into a little bit more with the symbolism that helps support that, but that was my overall theme. So again, it was social constructs create social disparities.
Okay.
So pretty close to yours, though,
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah. Okay.
But I feel like I had to widen my scope for what this theme could be in a sentence or two, though.
Yeah.
Any thoughts to that, K-Max?
I mean, it's to me. I can't separate the history again because I look at what's happening in well, if you look at South Korea right now, the limited mobility going between social classes, and the idea that, like what you said, chances are you're going to be what your folks were, and you're going to be what their folks were, and there's going to be new tenants moving in. It's just, you're going to repeat the same things, and they're being industrious. They're taking the chances that are given to them. The one thing about, like, if there's a security position open, there's going to be 500 university graduates. I think there was something that said in there,
Yeah. Right.
applying for it.
Yep.
Right.
And look at us. Look at our combined salary right now. There's something wrong in the society there. If that's how it's going. When people start looking at, like, America, when, oh man, this is trouble. A couple needs to have this mean income to be able to afford a house right now. And you look at it, who's that? Who can afford that now? Mm-hmm. Like right now, you can tell when a society's in trouble when there's problems with. So you're going to ask someone, then we want you to keep striving for the American dream. I mean, Western civilization. Keep striving for it. A film like this makes me feel like it's all about those institutional failures. Like, what's happening right now? Well, we're going to show you this whole picture so that you can see what's really happening in South Korea right now. This is the plight of what's happening there. If you want a taste of the good life, you can use all your resources and you can get a taste, but you're not going to stay up there because it's built to keep you in your place. Even no matter if you're smarter or not, like what Vaz said, you're actually tutoring them. You're driving them. You are the experts in their lives. You're educating them.
You're feeding them.
You're enlightening them.
They can't survive without you.
No, they can't.
Hence Parasite.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my goodness. Wow. Just like, honest to goodness, I'm like, wow, that I honestly, that's the first time that I've seen it that way, to be honest with you, that the rich are the parasites of this. You're driving me.
I can't clean, I can't cook, I can't drive, but you can. So you're going to do it for me.
I can't learn English properly. Mm-hmm. One thing I thought was weird is once in a while, almost like to flex their bougie, not their booby, their bougie, the parks would speak English from time to time. Was that something I missed?
No, I tried to write down as many times that they
deadly
spoke
serious.
English. Deadly serious is one of the phrases they say.
It's okay with you.
Is that okay with you?
There were a few things that they used, and I felt like it was almost like an homage to.
And what's his name yells at once while he's hitting his head on the respect.
Right. That's right. That's right. Yes,
while he's hitting his head on the thing.
And I guess I couldn't see what that symbolism was or why that was there, but I was like, I desperately knew it was something, but I'm like, I don't see it.
We can discuss that in the symbolism.
Cool. Yeah, because in my head I was like,
I tried to go through, because that's one where I got pieces of it, and I go, I need to watch it a fourth time just to point out the English in it, because the caption would still show up, like as if I'm reading it, and I would be like, oh wait, they said it in English, like, and I tried to write.
Did I just learn South Korean?
Yeah. Am I speaking
honestly,
South
that's
Korean?
what I was thinking. I'm honestly thinking that. Did I just read your mind?
Now, one term. Well, maybe I'll save this for later. So symbolism then. I'm going to go through with what I caught, and we'll kind of talk about those specific ones.
Cool.
And I left some out in case you guys want to add on to them. But we'll start off with the first one though, with the talking English and the idea behind it from my perspective anyway. So part of the movie I feel like takes a shot at capitalism and how it fails. And, you know, like any of the other social constructs, it's there to have a parasitic relationship with those below you. And so when they speak English, I feel like it's the filmmaker putting a Western attribute with them to what their wealth and their ideologies, their views on the poor, like what it's associated with, I guess. So when they speak English, they're, you know, like you said, K-Max, because when they speak it does feel like they're kind of flexing a little bit. Like, yeah, I'm high class, you know,
Yeah,
I can speak a little English, a little American. Because the things that they say aren't just like. I was expecting that to sound more tin-like.
It's been like that all day.
I was expecting it to come sound like a Mac 10.
We'll cut it in post.
Someone cut it just
We'll
now.
just cut it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Man, maybe.
That's why I sat on the couch.
But anyways,
That was number 4.
I know.
Yeah, we have the
Right through the
coffee.
last one, I'm like, oh, thank God.
We got the coffee beeps, and now we got the. But anyway, the use of the English isn't just English; it's slang. Like, oh, I'm deadly serious.
Yeah.
Are you okay with it? You know, like so, like very like, oh, I'm hip. You know, I'm speaking like an American.
Je ne
you know.
sais quoi. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. So that was my take on the use of English. I don't know about you.
I have no take on it. I watched it and I was like, ooh, that's something I should write down. So I wrote down a bunch of the phrases they said that were in English, and I just never went back to go see, okay, what do they mean by, why did they speak English in this scene? But that makes sense. That makes sense to me. Almost like a flex. Almost like a little tip of the cap.
Yeah.
A little pinky out in a phrase.
I like a small connection I made. I don't know if it's anywhere close, but like I said, I didn't understand a lot of what was happening because I didn't watch as many times as I usually would. But like, it was just another part of communication it seemed fragmented compared to, because they didn't use any English consistently.
Right.
So it was like little fragments to make emphasis, but also I thought that just kind of keep you off balance as an audience. Like, well, that was interesting, but then I also thought, like with the Morse code, that was a kind of language, right? But it connects though to the use of language.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move into Morse
Okay.
code right now then.
Okay.
Continue.
I because in my head I think it connects to like a breakdown of communication, like when they're using English, right? It's almost like a stopwatch is right twice a day. So who knows if they know the context or how it's being used, but they use it, and it seems to be fitting in the movie. And then, like when they get the Morse code message, what do they interpret it as? Is like hope or something? Like not help. It's
Yeah, I can't. It was incorrect.
hope. It was hope. HOLP instead of
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
HELP. And I thought it was pretty funny, but I'm like, it's on purpose. Like you said, everything has a reason in this movie. And to me, it was just a funny throwaway. But when I look at it in context with the English once in a while, it almost fit like, okay, these don't seem to have any rhyme or reason. Now here comes another. I mean, I don't know. There just felt like there was a language thing, and it was a breakdown of language. And
I'll just kind of put it together.
Yeah.
Because to me, it was the poor and the rich can't understand each other.
There it is.
Ooh.
So when they're in
That's
the
it.
basement and he's banging his head, he's like, "Oh, Morse code. You might be familiar with it."
Yeah.
He's talking to the other father, like, "Hey, we're one and the same here. You might remember a little Morse code, like."
Yeah.
And for anybody that's a Criterion collector, the cover art for Parasite in the Criterion collection is Morse code, like the symbols, dashes
dots
and
and
dots. And in the dots and dashes are the characters.
Really?
So when I saw that, I was like, why would that be the cover art?
Oh, that's cool.
So that's, when I watched it when it came out on Blu-ray, I was like, oh, let's pay attention to that. And then that's when I was like, oh, they even when he deciphers it, when the kid deciphers it, it's incorrect. so I was like, they just can't understand each other. They have no clue.
That's really cool. Mm-hmm. So like I think that also like code, the idea of like code switching, like what I mean, like we in classes, like there's certain classes that there's certain language we use that we understand each other, and yet if someone from a different social class or something used it, we might look at it as a slur or an insult, or someone from an upper class used the same thing, we would be like, how dare you, that's pompous of you, that's pious of you to say, things that we would tell each other normally. So that like the classes can't even communicate with each other clearly. I think
Right.
that couldn't be more accurate, because if I go to apply for a high level job, if I'm not prepared, if I don't have that education, like even something as simple as like eye contact for Native folks. If you go in to apply for a job off the reservation and you can't make eye contact and finish a good sentence and look someone in the eye and say, "Nice to meet you, my name is Chris Burley," you're not getting that job. And that's something that's so just a very basic communication that sometimes we're not taught.
Yeah.
You're respectful. You're being respectful.
Oh, it spells parasite. That's Parasite.
Beauty.
That's really
I
cool.
didn't know that. I had to look it up.
That's awesome. I'm glad you did, because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I wonder what it says. Does that say hope?
Yeah. That would be funny if it was Joel piece.
So how about the Scholar's Rock or the Lucky Rock in the beginning?
Oh, that was interesting.
I heard it called the Viewing Stone. They called it something else too. The
Scholar's Stone,
The
I
Scholar's
think.
Stone. The
Yeah.
Sorcerer's Stone.
So to me, it was kind of like the aspiration to improve status.
I thought that.
Kind of like, we need that because that's ultimately what our hope is
Yeah.
to get that level. But to me, it was also scheme versus determination. Kind of like, this lucky thing will help us achieve what we want.
Like
Not
the monkey's paw here. I
Yeah,
don't- had you-
Genie's
right.
lamp.
Yep.
Yeah. Kiwu, that's the son's name. That's the one who the son, he gets caught. He's holding it when they're stuck in the gymnasium after they're flooded.
when hope is all but lost. That's the only thing that he's clutching on
That's
to.
the only thing he's got left to hold
Oh,
on.
that's right.
And
He tries to use it to, I don't know if he's using it to go down the stairs to finish off the guy living in the basement, and he drops it, and he goes down and gets like ambushed, and then gets caught. Then it's used against him to almost kill him.
yep.
So it's almost a symbol of their failure too. It's like
Well, yeah, like he even drops it down the stairs back to the
Yeah, it goes back to
bottom
Yeah,
of
yep.
the
His-
totem pole.
your Faustian
their
deal with the devil.
their surrender to your fate. You met your
Yeah.
fate. It's like the final symbol of the rock is there, and your fate has been sealed. You had your 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah,
Back to the tar pits from which you came.
I'll circle back to it, but at the end he places it back into just a regular bed of
the river. Yeah,
river
into the
rock.
creek or whatever. Yeah, creek.
And like I said, I'll circle back to that, but to me that was kind of like almost the admission, like, oh, I'm not going to get it this way, like
Yeah, Yep. How metaphorical. Is that what the first words were?
Yeah.
He hands it to him. He looks at it. He's like, how metaphorical.
It's so metaphorical.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, that means something. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. That was one of my other favorite scenes. Was when the art teacher came in. She's like, "See, this corner is the schizophrenic corner right here."
It's just-
And to keep going with our Chris Farley theme, I don't know why it's so prevalent tonight, but Beverly Hills Ninja, when he's trying to impress the girl at the dojo, and so he picks up the ninja star and he like throws it behind him, and she's like, "Very impressive," and he turns around and he double takes because the star like stuck on the wall. So like in the movie, she's like, "There it is on that painting right there," and she's like, "Ah, yes." So that's all I saw was Chris Farley double take.
Looks at the star.
Yeah. But to continue with symbolism, how about I paid attention to the color green.
Ooh.
Say color green.
I had 0.
And how fitting for
Zero.
St. Patty's Day we're recording on.
Yeah.
Cha-cha-cha-cha-char. Oh, you guys are all wearing green. I'm the only idiot not wearing green.
You did wear the Christmas sweater, though.
Yeah, so now we got you back.
Christmas.
Yeah, so I'm no longer ahead.
Nope.
And by St. Patrick's Day, wow, what a preacher St. Patrick was, if I might. for
I
St.
know
Patrick's
nothing
Day.
about St. Patrick.
Well, it's about to meet it on
Snakes?
here on Depth Perception.
Wait, I do
Never
know
any snakes in Ireland, by the way. Second of all,
You saying there's no snakes in Ireland right
right,
now?
that's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Furthermore, the more
I know from experience, too.
I don't believe you guys.
and I should know. Well, I knew a guy named Voss.
Chris Farley, once again. What is it?
That Veronica. Anyway, but St. Patrick, man, an underrated evangelist, if I might. Wasn't even Irish, by the way.
Oh, okay.
British. Kidnapped. I'm going to paraphrase. I'm going to mess this up, but I got to get this story out on St.
Send
Patrick's
it out
Day.
there.
He's taken by these folks, and he's in Ireland now, and he's raised up, and then he. Bottom line is this: he goes up into there's actually an altar there. You can go there now in Ireland. A couple hour hike off the beaten path. See this altar that kind of talks about his story of how he met with many of the Druid folks and the people with old belief systems and whatnot, right? And he preached the gospel to them. And I want to say so many tribes of folks of clans and whatnot believed Christ and were Christians. And so when you hear St. Patrick, you think of like a canonized or someone who's been sainthood or earned this or whatever. He was never, the Catholic Church never did that. It's just he's St. Patrick because he's someone who widely believers worldwide see him as one of the greatest evangelists of all times, who was taken from captivity, kidnapped from his home by these folks, and had this mission, and had this faith in this mission, and almost like Elijah and the prophets of Baal type of if you look at the history, happened on top of that mountain with these other religious leaders, and whatever happened there, they saw and they said, "We believe Christ."
Huh.
And the official religion of Ireland has been Christianity. Now we want to talk about sex now and what we do about, and I mean sex, SECTS.
Oh.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. Hey, then you talk about the struggles with religion, then with Catholicism and Protestantism. Then that's a big issue still in Ireland. But the very foundations of biblical belief system in Ireland is because of St. Patrick. So snakes and leprechauns and whatnot like that. I think St. Patrick's Day is an awesome day to kind of just sit back a little bit and remember, look at the facts about this guy and what he valued and just how much work he did.
I know nothing about
which
St.
is
Patrick.
super cool. I just thought that was really cool. I just thought throw out the snakes and this medieval.
So you're telling me
bearded guy.
that there's no snakes in Ireland right now?
Again, I haven't been there lately, but it's the waters around it are too cold, so they could never naturally migrate to that landmass, and there was never any that were indigenous to that area.
So he got them all out.
He did not. Anyway, that is a side note, but it's St. Patrick's Day, and I
All
heard.
right, St. Patrick.
All right.
Shout out to St. Patrick.
I'll see you on the cutting. St. Patrick, I'll see you on the cutting room floor.
Oh, that-
I think that's
a good one.
interesting, though.
yeah. But color green. We're introduced to this color green with the family in the beginning. So there's shades of green in the home. There's people wearing shades of green depending on what their relationship is. So you kind of see it pop up when there's some sort of parasitic relationship going on.
Some green on that cover, too, isn't there? In that little. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
there
all like
most
subtle
certainly
green.
is.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up...
It's all the grass.
Yeah. So here's one for you. Well, you kind of had it was like a grayish, greenish gas in the beginning too. But you get this dull green color from our family in the basement. I mean, in the beginning. But kind of to me, foreshadowing about what the filmmaker is saying about who the parasite is in this relationship. When the son goes to the home, when he first has the interview and he pushes the doorbell, you know it's a gray home with like a wooden door or whatever it is, right? When it's opened, just like the other home, what do we see when that door opens? It's green. So to me, it was kind of like a foreshadowing of like, you know, yes, you may see this family right here as the parasite, but once you open up the door and take a look inside, you're going to find out that maybe the parasite isn't who you thought it was.
Maybe you're filled with envy.
Green with envy, would you say?
Green with envy.
But then you see it again when the hidden basement is opened up.
That's very green.
Very green.
Yeah.
You kind of see it in the shrubbery and the lawn of the rich family, where it's vibrant green compared to the dull green.
Right.
So it's almost like the greener you get, the more parasitic you are, and the most parasitic of this relationship seems to be the richer family. So I won't, for whoever, I would say keep that one kind of in the back of your mind the next time you watch it, about where green is and who's wearing green, where it shows up, when it shows up.
I never thought of that.
And Tin Man, I know you've brought this one up, but the smells.
Oh yeah.
So the basement smell, you can't get rid of it because it's part of your identity. It's part of your actual home.
I smell it sometimes when I ride the train.
And to me, they said crosses the line. So to me, it's when something is like feeding too much, as in this idea of parasite, when it's overstepping its welcome, its boundary. That's when you can tell it doesn't belong. Like, oh, something's not right here. You can smell it. So it's just that, for me, the identity the idea that it's part of who you are. And, just in general, when people say, oh, you got a certain smell, or, your loved ones, you know what they smell like. And you got that scene where the kid goes up to both Ketek and his wife. Oh, boy.
It's in here. It's in here.
I got it. Chung Suk.
Yep, that's what I got.
Yeah.
Chung Suk.
So the little kid compares the smells of both. Hey, they both smell the same. And, they did it. He did that when they're all in the same space, too, to be like, hey, these two don't belong.
Right.
Like, they're from somewhere else. Anything to add on to that?
They did say that once they got home, because they were like, do we have to change the soaps that we're using? And they're like, no, it's because we're in a sub-basement. Like, we can't get rid of it. They knew that they couldn't get rid of that smell. And when it come up during the sex scene, they could still smell it. And so he's, like, taking hit after hit. They're talking.
But him or her?
Oh.
Boo! Boo!
Zing.
Clockwise.
So when you know you're high class, it's clockwise.
You know you're high class. Buy me drugs.
That's one of the secrets of the higher class.
I'm saying help right now. With my forehead. Yeah, SOS. Help.
Help. But that was a phrase he said about him being in the driver in the car, was that, the other driver, he was good. He stayed on his side of the line.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that smell, the smell crosses the line.
Oh, that's right.
So there was something that they couldn't escape. It was their lot. They couldn't get out of until they get out of the basement. They're going to have that smell regardless.
Hearing that about the smell and whatnot, I couldn't help but be reminded of like reservation life, like with the sulfur water.
Yep.
And I remember, I think
Eggs
our families were in a similar stage as our kids were ready to go to high school, and we're like, what about the water tank? Remember we were talking about that the one time. It's like, because our daughters are that age going to school now, going to be going to high school, and this was years ago.
Yeah. Yep.
And then like getting the water tanks was like that's what it was, is so that they didn't have to carry that scarlet letter with them.
Yep.
The egg shaped letter, the you go to school, it doesn't take long. I remember my dad said that once. We weren't really super a lot of money, but we had our clothes we had like maybe 2 sets of clothes washed. We weren't was washed and it was ready to go, and you would just rotate back and forth, and you always bathed every day because and then even after gym, my dad would make us boys always say, he goes, it doesn't take a long time for you to get a label. It takes once of you not being clean to get a label. And so it was almost like dogmatic. And so I just thought, mortified, thinking, we got a nice house. We got nice running water. We got so many things I didn't have as a kid. But the water is sulfuric on the reservation, many of the wells.
Yep.
And so you can almost pick the kids no matter what they
So those of you who don't
they,
live on a reservation,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have a well with a pump that brings water up from underground, and a lot of it has sediments in it. So our washing machines, our faucets, everything was rusting out, like 30 years old being 3 years old. So you'd have leaks, you'd have stuff. Washing machines would break down all the time, and you would get sulfur smell, which is almost like an egg smell. You'd have like oh man, all my stuff, I gotta like double detergent half my stuff just so it doesn't smell like eggs.
Yeah.
Because then you go to school and they'd be, ew, what is that?
Well, and also too, like people, a lot of my non-native friends will laugh at the fact, not laugh in a mean way, but like giggle at the idea that I live at the laundromat, and I'm like, yeah. I said no matter, because we had washer and dryer, we had those resources, but if we want the wash to do what the wash is supposed to do, we got to go use other water.
Yep.
And, or get a delivery where I got to get a delivery twice a week then if I use my laundry.
Yeah.
Instead of every 2 weeks. If I use the laundry, my house, I got to get a delivery twice a week. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
And
That's what I do.
$30 to $50, you know what I mean? $30 to $50 a load.
My house is going, now that the daughters are not at the house.
Oh,
my
probably
water
one delivery
last week, yeah, it's like every 3
Once
weeks
a month now.
I don't know.
January 1st, time for more water.
Yep.
With the daughters 3 times a week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Three times a week? You're getting water delivery 3 times a week?
No,
Oh,
but
I was like, holy smoke.
no, I was just saying if all the kids are home. It's
Oh,
like,
my
So
gosh.
a little preview then for our upcoming chapter on indigenous representation in film, because these are little things that maybe people don't have any knowledge about or
Yeah, no experience or whatever.
yeah. So that'll be interesting. All right, so how about water and rain?
oh yeah, like a kind of a curse on the poor and a blessing on the rich.
There you go.
Like your basement gets flooded out, and whereas the rich is kind of cleansing and makes everything nice.
I would even say that it rains on everyone. Like the rain lands on the just and the
Yeah, I was gonna say you got a little bit preach
a
then.
little bit in there. But how the rich can handle the rain, there's dry towels. We're not getting rained on, no issues. You know what? My son's even going to stay out in a tent because it's fun because the rain's out there. So they're well protected. It's even doing good for the grass and they're comfortable in the rain.
I feel like I could talk for hours on that idea that the wealthy can enjoy the rain,
Yeah.
whereas because I feel like whenever like people I got to go out in nature, I got to go camping, I'm like that's a nice option for you. Congratulations.
Right.
I'm trying to not be in a third
Like
world.
you're choosing not to have a rain?
Yes.
I remember when a flat tire would be like, okay, so now I have to not eat lunch because I got a flat tire because that's where the money's got to go. Now I'm in a spot now it's much more comfortable where I can just pay for the flat tire. But when the little bit of rain came back then, I might not eat. You know, like we're stopping eating a meal just to make sure that's covered. And that's how we were when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then now where I can handle the rain, maybe not that much rain, but I can handle some rain now.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. But the rich in this situation, the rain's just it's fun. We had to cancel our trip, but now we're just going to go home and he'll camp outside in the yard.
And
And the
almost-
rain's on the outside.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
No
it's not-
threat of it coming
No
on the
threat of it,
inside.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all up. They're all uphill on top of the hill.
Yeah.
And the rain's all going down to the bottom, filling the basement.
I've long contended that the idea of roughing it, or we're going camping this weekend. That's great. Those are wonderful things. And when someone's like, I'm going to go, I got to find a house in the country. I got to get away. I got to unplug. I got to get off the grid here. I'm like, well, when you don't have power or running water, man, you're craving that grid. And you're like, well, how come you enjoy it so much? You like me, like, these are wonderful privileges, man, And so I think that idea of the rain, being able to enjoy it, that hit in a neat way. That's like the kid actually gets to go out there and enjoy it, while the other ones are like, oh, here comes the rain. We're not going to be able to. We're going to be flooded here.
Yeah, the one
Our
guy's
sewer's
on
going
the
to back
step.
up.
You see his shoes are just flooded.
Yeah.
He's standing in running water. But I wanted to point out before I forget for later. Remember, we talked about the grass is always greener in our discussion about wanting. If you're rich, you want that freedom, right? So you don't have that perspective on, well, how nice it is to have that choice whether or not to have that roof over your head and be dry. So I thought that was pretty interesting that we keep on referencing that the first chapter episode on class and poverty. But I also saw it as like water as like revealing the truth, I guess. So when the family comes back and they're forced to leave and find their way home, like the water just geographically goes down, right? So they're going down with it. The water is kind of flushing them back to where they belong, or where they're actually from. So it's kind of like revealing, like, no. Here's
the truth of
here's
their
how
status.
far apart you guys are.
Yeah.
You go there, they stay here. Because it even brought the family back home, right? So like it even forced them back to the top when they tried to go to the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The rich family was out camping. They're like, oh, the rain's coming. We got to go back home. Okay.
So
Oh, yeah.
There's some food too, right? It's a symbol of the high quality food, and then just the noodles for the poorer family. They were just always. I mean, I've only seen them eat a couple times, but like, let's see here.
Because they ate at like a cafeteria.
Yeah, so it's like food choice consumption is like disparity between the families. The Kim's reliance on instant noodles, like almost like ramen type the diet, and then the high end food.
He had like braised ribs.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, braised ribs, because that's what the other maid used to make, and my wife's such a horrible cook. And fresh sliced fruit. Oh,
Yeah.
the one's gone. We'll have peaches now.
Well, I mean that almost calls back to, like, I mean, it's all society with me, right? I mean, the lens that I have, I see all these things as, we just eat so poorly. I can't look at Instagram anymore because like everything is like, oh, the poor neighborhoods, they're such poor diets, and there's like, well, you try to afford to eat well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I used to live off of
Honest to goodness,
ramen noodles.
Honest, but seriously, I mean, we
Pronounce it ramen
couple
noodles.
incomes, right? Couple incomes and extra business and 3 jobs, and very often my kids are heating up a pot pie or because it's not just convenience or time's sake. It's expensive to eat healthy.
Oh yeah.
And it's time consuming, and if you're in a class struggle, if you're in poverty, if you're doing it right, maybe I don't know who's right, but if you're doing it right, you're hustling, you're struggling, you're out there grinding. You don't have time to sit there.
Time is luxury.
Yeah, that's absolutely it.
So you got these people that they can't afford to waste the resource of time.
That's
They're
right.
out there hustling or working, whatever they're gonna do.
Yeah.
You compare that to this other family, all they have is time.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
So going with your food, the idea that one of the, I guess, parasites you could say, but the original homekeeper maid is allergic to peaches.
Oh,
which is
about that.
kind of a, I would say, higher end food. But if you're going to say, oh, we can get peaches every day, oh, that person's pretty well off, and this person can't eat them, like literally gets sick, like can't do it, like literally can't live that life because she'll get sick.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if it is more of I don't know if we'll call it a delicacy, but like not as common in Korea. You know,
I don't know.
Maybe that's a thing.
Not a lens I have.
Not a lens you have. Yeah, not our perception yet, I guess.
Stairs and slopes throughout the
Yeah.
movie. You know, we saw that pretty obviously. And then the idea of movement in society. And to me, it ebbs and flows with the decisions the characters make. So right away in the beginning, well, I guess towards the beginning, when the son says, you know, here's my, I don't consider this forgery or a crime because, you know, I plan to actually go to university.
Yeah.
As soon as he says that, what happens next?
He gets the.
He starts to
He's
go
going
up
up the
stairs.
stairs. That's the. What did he? No, he said something very specific. It was like, it's just early. Something like that. He's like, oh, I just
printed it out
I
early.
just printed it out early. That's what it was,
But
yeah.
just that concept that he's decided, like, hey,
Yep.
this is just a temporary thing. I am going to go to school and do it the right way, and that's when he starts to go up the stairs.
Yeah.
And that happens a couple times throughout, both ways though. So, I mean, you could take the huge one where they overstay their welcome and they start eating everyone's food, and this idea that they're trying to, oh yeah, you'll marry the girl when she's of age, and this will be our in-laws, and you know we'll eventually take it over. The idea of this get-rich-quick schemes and trickery to get to that place in society. So what happens next is they get a big old slice of humble pie and have to go get washed back down to their basement home. And again, down steps, down slopes, down everything, all the way down, like Plinko.
Plinko reference, Farley references. Is this heaven?
This show's got everything.
Yeah.
No, it's Iowa.
And I thought even the house itself could serve as a social construct. To me, it was a symbol for the man-made thing that the people are after. So I want to be a part of this social construct here because that means I'm at the top. And then you have the other home and kind of the opposite idea. This construct don't want to be a part of, but I'm stuck here. And, you know, you got looks like bars on the window.
Yeah, I thought that was.
But just the idea of the rich house where it was built to only allow the rich in. But it was also built to have this parasitic relationship built in. You know, you had the
maid came with the house.
Yeah, the basement
Oh,
below.
the basement also held. Like,
Like it was meant for someone to also live there.
Yeah.
So just the idea that this social construct, this actual construct made by man, is meant to have people above and people below. You know, it's meant for that. And so that's where, you know, my theme is, you know, the social construct is there to have disparity so that you can have an upper class. But to have an upper class, you need lower class.
So that the luxury of the lights coming on when he comes up the stairs just happens to come on, no, not realizing there's a guy downstairs turning on the lights for you.
And that the other half of that person living in the basement is their maid that cleans up their home, like one of those birds on an alligator that picks its teeth for it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought the house was a pretty big symbol for all of that. Were there any other symbols that you guys wanted to talk about? I'm sure we could go on. I know there's a couple I'm leaving off, but
What else did I write? That might have covered all the ones I wrote down.
There was some obsession of Native American.
That's a scene
No?
perception.
Okay. All right.
So, K-Max, you've been a master at segueing tonight.
Hey, listen. You should have seen me on a Segway in San Francisco. But that's another story altogether. I was fantastic. The over-under was 2 minutes, and I didn't crash once. You know the hill that goes back and forth on that, like Garden Hill on San Francisco? You see
yeah.
it? I did that on a Segway. True story.
I don't think I have the
That looks
correct
scary.
center of gravity to be on a Segway.
Well, nor did I, my friend. And I just, yeah, it's pretty good.
I think instead of going forward, I would just kind of work like broken hands on a clock and just kind of rotate it.
Like the robot on Lost in Space. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. That's what I thought that was going to happen to me, and they gave me a 10-minute training, and I was off and gone.
Is it really? Wow. That's
super
I've
cool.
never been on one.
So cool. I didn't think I could do it. I still don't believe that I did it, but I've done it in D.C. and I did it in San Fran. It was
And
amazing.
you did it here, Master of the Segway. Our
Master of the Segway.
first scene perception is the use of native imagery. And I'm going to give a specific one and say towards the end, before all the chaos happens, man, I gotta look up the names again. Kitek and
Dong
Ik. Again, sorry about any pronunciations here. They're hiding behind the bush, and they say, "Okay, now when he comes out, we'll have our tomahawks, and we'll go out there." And they put on headdresses. I say, "Okay, this person grabs the girl, and then the other one and then the boy can save the day, and blow out candles, whatever it is." So that little conversation there, where they're putting on the headdresses and talking about this, what went through your minds during that little section right there?
Well, my first thought was, this guy is probably paying you good money to drive him around and do random shit, so just suck it up. You're probably getting paid good money on a job you didn't deserve.
I'm like, everything in this
best.
movie's on purpose.
Go
And you're
be the
like,
best.
this is a
Go
throwaway.
be the best Indian possible. No, that was my literal first thought, but I was like, geez, if my boss was telling me to do something, I'd be like, yeah, boss, gotcha. But
So I guess I'll go through.
I think that he was getting, Kitek was like, feels like he's being used for everything he has. It's kind of being like,
no, I'll help you out here, though. I'll
like,
say you can relate this little section here to any other time in the movie that you see native imagery.
so whenever the kid's in a teepee during the rain, I guess it feels like it's, I don't know if it's some type of vanity that they have the ability to do something that the poor class doesn't have any access to. I don't know if it's like flaunting it in his face. I don't know.
So I'll kind of go through what I
Because I got
thought.
no.
So part of it to me is, again, a reference to Western society. So what happens over here in the U.S. and when they're speaking English, and they're kind of using the native imagery as a novelty is kind of the same, I don't want to say disrespectful, but like ignorant use, taking advantage of that imagery. Oh, this is cool. I think I'll wear it, and put on a headdress. This is cool. I think I'll act like an Indian from the United States, and I got my bow and arrow and my tomahawk because I don't care that could be disrespecting an entire race of people or ethnicity or anything. But when I saw the headdresses go on, what I thought of was kind of similar to Hell or High Water, their use of native callbacks and because the one guy says, "Oh, I'm Comanche," So to me, it was a reminder of, I guess, those being taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. So, that was Hell or High Water was our thought on that, And so for this movie, maybe subconsciously, maybe you picked up on it, but for the first half, you're kind of thinking, well, maybe even more than half, you're thinking, oh, this family is leeching off the rich, and now there's even a family below them that's also leeching off the rich. And the rich are the ones that have the native imagery. But then it's not till this scene right here where that kind of flips. And, now Ketek's got the headdress on. And so now it's, well, hold on. Now both of them have headdresses on. Who's the real parasite in this relationship here? And that's when you start to see a real change in Ketek, kind of like making little comments, well, you love your wife, right? So, and then, that's when their friendship kind of changed right there. And then then everything that the rich family does annoys Ketek.
Yeah.
To the point where he goes murderous. But that was my thought during that scene, was right there, is like, now they're both sharing this native imagery. And if you're looking at it through the same lens that we acquired from Hell or High Water, to me it fits perfectly, where it's kind of attributed, the native talk, trying to be Native American, almost attributed to showing who is being taken advantage of in a situation between, two nations.
Okay.
So that was my thought. K-Max, did you have anything? I mean, what did you think of when you saw that scene?
Well, first thing is like just like is it the word? Is it commodification? Almost like using it ignorantly, using. It's like just
mascot.
I would say even like I'm looking at you, Tomahawk Chop, and I'm looking at you. You know what I mean? Like not using it ignorantly,
right?
Using it ignorantly, and that is almost like. Maybe it's fair or unfair, and I have a lot of bias this way and blind spots, but sometimes I see the rich as they carelessly, sometimes some rich, some wealthy can carelessly and ignorantly use symbols, or it's collecting art even sometimes. They might collect a precious artifact that has no place in a home, that belongs somewhere reverent, but it's
belongs in a museum.
Right. And it's like this belongs here. The people have the right to see it. And it's like, these are precious to it. I mean, there was, back in the 90s, there was a huge fight with the New York State Museum to get artifacts back. And thankfully, they did the right thing. They sent them back. And then they were donated by the councils back to them. You know what I mean? But they got ceremonial use. They got to be back where they were supposed to be. And some of them were donated back. But that's what I felt with it. Like, oh, look at these rich folks. Because they don't have to care. They don't care about those deep, heavy things, because who's going to hold them accountable? They don't have to care. Mm-hmm. That's what I felt about it.
Like insulated from its meaning or real
and
society,
to almost dumb it down to like, hey, this is how I'm going to make my son happy. We're going to play make believe, and you're gonna save the girl from the savages and whatever that like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty.
So that's where Ketek starts to like feel like he's being the parasite, or he's being used as a parasite against him. There's quite a bit of disdain in his face during that scene too.
Yeah, well, he makes that comment, and I think it's kind of I feel like it's I don't know, with our cultural differences or the translation, but he makes a comment about kind of like, well, you love your wife, don't you? Like, I can't remember the exact phrase that he uses, but it's kind of like almost a shot like, oh, well, you're allowed to do things to make your family happy, huh? Like, that's kind of what it seemed like almost, like.
Okay.
And that's when he says, hey, I'm paying you to be here. I'm paying you extra, so you're going to do what I say, like type of thing. But yeah, that was our first scene perception. I think that was pretty cool to get. Because, you get three native guys here seeing this thing, and so that whenever we see something native in a movie, it sticks out to us. I was like, hey, okay, why'd you put that in there? What are we doing here? Because I feel like we are very used to having to pick up when people are criticizing, making fun of us as a community, us as a nation or whatever, us as a people, we're very used to people putting in those little jabs there. And so when something like this comes up, I think it's a pretty unique perspective that the three of us would have as to, okay, we're kind of tensing up, like, okay, what are you doing here? What are we thinking?
I didn't know what to think of it because it was from a Korean, like it's from South Korea. I'm like, I don't know what they think of us.
Right.
It's not like we have any direct connection that I can think of. I did play against a South Korean lacrosse team once.
They see. You did this.
And we won.
Maybe you checked them a little too hard.
But I think that pretty cool, though, that we've, when I said that Hell or High Water was like the perfect preview for the second season, it's coming. I mean, we're only 5 episodes in, but so far it's been pretty relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. There's 3 Native men talking about how we perceive it and how it affected us. Very often, we're left with we're told how we should be affected by it by non-Native folks.
Well, in this case too, it's
Right?
like, well, here's how I'm going to use you.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it. There's an ignorance that we all have towards all these other cultures that comes naturally, right? And there's ignorance that people have. Now, the problem is that when someone is like, they know they're ignorant, and they still want to insist that you should be more offended by that, or you're too offended by that. I'm like, kindly, I'll decide
None
that.
of your business.
Yeah.
But
Watch your
good,
neck. No.
good preview though, because we will have an entire chapter on
That's right.
indigenous representation. So that should be a kind of a fiery one. We'll see.
Good one.
But the second scene, perception. And yes, we're a bunch of immature dudes. So, of course, we're going to analyze the sex scene.
Perverts.
And we know Tin Man's going to go first then.
I closed my eyes. I don't know what you guys are talking. I just heard it.
You peeked.
Yeah, you close your eyes like Donald Duck, really. It's kind of
That's right.
the eyes peeking through.
I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Well,
Wait,
I know
what's
you
the-
watched because you said it was clockwise.
Okay, so this scene takes place when the family comes home. The Park family comes home while the Kims are trying to eat or are trying to hide. So there's 3 of them, right? It's the father and the 2 kids under the table. The Park mom, dad sleep in the living room while their son sleeps in the tent outside. While they're laying in bed, we're laying on the couch. He goes, I can still smell that smell. I smell it like on the train sometimes. It's that poor person smell. I can still smell it's around. So they're trying not to make any noise. Ketek is already getting, like, kind of, you can tell he's like kind of upset at the jabs about the smell crossing the line. Mm-hmm. He's starting to like get some.
You can see like embarrassment and
There's embarrassment that eventually turns to disdain after a while. Where he's like, gets stabby after a certain point.
well, like you can see the embarrassment too because he
covers
uses
his face,
the arm,
He just puts his arm over his face.
cover his
He's like,
face,
"Oh."
and almost like try to cover
I think
both
he
of his
smells
ears.
his shirt first too. He smells his shirt. I'm like, oh man, is it still? I can still smell it. Like he didn't want to get caught, and then they start fondling each other. Mm-hmm. What else do they talk about during that scene? Well, they start fondling each other, assumingly have sex on the couch, while the rest of the family kind of has to endure this position that they're in. They're in like I gotta hide from them. They're beneath them. They're trying to avoid. They got stuck. Well, the rest of their house is getting rained out. They're stuck trying to hide from the family under a table. Well, the boy gets to sleep in a tent in the rain, and they just have to sit there and endure hearing the rich family have sex, asking for drugs, right above them. It is a rough spot to be in for them, and it is a lot to endure. kind of emotionally, and then feeling the weight of how down you are. And I kind of feel like that's a big punch.
I think that's the essence of it, is just showing how big the difference is between these two groups and just how the poor family is perceived, is kind of like a dose of reality to them. Because right after that, that's when the water washes them out of the home. So even the underwear is referred to as cheap, And
that's right.
That was something that, early on we were like, oh, how clever. Like, she's able to plant the thing and the underwear, and got the guy fired, got her dad in there. Like, how clever, how resourceful, pretty scummy and dirty, but,
Yeah.
And then in this case, is kind of like, oh, if you put on this cheap pair of underwear, like, it'll really get me turned on. Like, just kind of like, oh, like, they're playing make-believe to get themselves off because we're so different than these people.
Right.
So, like I said, it was a lot of, like, humble pie they're being served during this.
Well, trapped in a spot that they can't get out of.
You're forced to listen to how you're perceived by these rich people.
Yeah. And it felt almost like the tension in the scene was like, watch, when your parents are in the room and the sex scene comes on, it's like, oh, what do I do now? Or now as a parent, you're like, even of like just an allusion to a sex scene or whatever with your kids around, you're like, oh my gosh, and I feel like that was like a tension that was created on purpose. Mm-hmm. It's like, I want my people to feel this.
Yeah.
And here's what else I saw in that scene, as we saw this wife throughout this movie, and she can't cook, she can't clean, she doesn't work, she doesn't seem to parent much, and we think, well, why is she in the position she is? And you find out just what the rich guy saw in his wife. And she seems to be pretty good at whatever she's doing in this situation here. And what's interesting to me is, usually being good at this type of stuff, at the dirty talk and the actual just being open for business, we'll say, tends to be a characteristic you would see in lower class, like prostitution and, that sort of thing. But it's interesting to me that seems to be the biggest reason that he's with her, because for how the husband, just kind of, I don't know, nonchalantly, but like easily was like, okay, here we go. I'm going to touch you here. I'm going to touch you there. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, time to pleasure the husband type of feel. And it's kind of like interesting that's your key to being in the higher class right now, is just being open for business there. And typically, like I said, prostitution or whatever is, being good at that sort of thing, usually associated with lower class and schemy, type of ways of getting money and all that. So to me, that only speaks to the idea of how social construct creates these mindsets. So otherwise, she can't do anything else except that. She should be on the bottom, right, of society. But instead, it's because of that she's at the top with this rich guy. So I thought, even on that platform of marriage, the mindsets are still being manipulated by these social constructs.
There's a line in New Jack City. You guys ever watch that movie? Mm-hmm. Wesley Snipes talking about G Money's. I think he might have there's a conversation that he's having about G Money's girlfriend or fiance. No, his own girlfriend. And she can't have kids or something. He learns that she can't have kids. And he says exactly that. He says that line pretty much, like, can't cook. Pretty much can't. I bet you can't. Good thing you can do this. and she feels so ashamed, and she's, you know what I mean? It's like, that's what she brought to the table, and she did it because she loved him. She was committed to him. It wasn't that she was trying to, you know, like shake him down or anything like that or extort him. She loved him, and he just threw that at her, like, you know what I mean? And it was, remember, it was a big scene in that movie. It was years ago that I saw it, probably 25 years ago that I seen it. But I remember he was being real crass about it and being real loud with all of his gangsters around him. And he mentioned to her that, yeah, that's right, that's why you're here, and you better be good at it. Like, embarrassing. I think it was either his first lieutenant, drug dealer guy, his wife, I think. That's why you're here. That's why he keeps you around or something, you know. And then he says that about his. And I'm like, and it was shown to show how deprived this character was, that he would throw that in her face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think we're maybe, you know, victims of that perception too. That film does very often paint, you know, that as something that is of a lower class or whatever. And yet, any good God-fearing American man might say that is a wonderful trait. You know what I mean? If you're being honest, it's like that can be high class. That can be the very best. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to be.
I could eat takeout every day, I think.
I mean, honest to goodness, it's like, yeah, that's all you can do. That's all you can do. I've tipped my hand. This has been Sean Braley. I'm out. Well, all she brings to the table. Yeah. That's not nice. I mean, again, I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm just saying, very often, film and society will tell us that, you know, the sex worker. You know, I was just watching Afterlife, Ricky Gervais show on Netflix, and they're kind of painting this, you know, this lower class of British society, and you know, he's friends with the drug user and the sex worker, and you know, just showing this demographic as all these people. These are the people that fit in this lower class, and yeah, maybe not so. But it was interesting to see that this high class lady. Remember, even early on when I seen her in there, I'm like, classy lady, pretty lady. Yeah. You know, remember when we were watching at the shop, I said, good looking lady, the wife of the Parks mom. Yep. And sure enough, shows us what she's all about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I was going with that, but
Yon Kyo, I think that's how it's pronounced.
Okay.
Yon Kyo.
All right.
Yeah. So that was that scene.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty interesting.
Very, very high tense. Very
tension on purpose. It seemed like, right?
High tense, huh?
High tense.
Like pitch tense or
we're just three boys.
There was kids.
We're immature.
There was a son in tent.
We're just
pitch
ordinary
tense.
Men. We're just normal men. We're just innocent men. I don't know. I post a clip on Instagram that has this puppet dog and this. You got to watch it sometime. You know, maybe I'll get active on the depth perception post for the first time in months.
One could only hope.
I know.
We are but three busy fathers.
Gosh,
with jobs and such.
Yeah,
jobs and families.
If only this could be our job, I think it would be pretty cool. But then we might lose some of our perception on things.
Oh, yeah.
So be it.
The sacrifices will. That's a sacrifice. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Was that Jack Nicholson?
It was a bad attempt at it.
Well, it reminded me of Robin Williams' Jack Nicholson when he impersonates him in Aladdin.
Oh yeah.
Obscure reference. That's my specialty. All right. So let's relate this thing back to Bicycle Thieves.
Ooh, okay.
So to me, these movies are not only from two very different parts of the world with different politics and economies and cultures, but they are also 80 years apart of when they're depicting their stories. However, I think these movies have more in common than you'd think. So obviously they're in our class and poverty chapter here. So their central themes revolve around that. But really, these films speak about social constructs and institutions and how they divide people. In our Bicycle Thieves discussion, I had mentioned how cyclical poverty was shown and how there was just no escape. And so far in our Parasite discussion, you can see already we're also talking about how cyclical and inescapable poverty is. So also last episode, I mentioned that I watched with a lens that did not include historical context in order to keep a contemporary perspective on it. Well, why did Mr. Vosley do this? One, Bicycle Thieves is one of the greatest and most influential movies ever made. If you're looking for historical context and objective lenses, they most certainly exist, and they're made by people far more qualified than Depth Perception Movie Podcast. And I think the other part of this answer is pretty obvious. Even without a world war ending, and across different cultures, different climates, different economies, different politics, like I said, different government, even different centuries, we see how universal the issue of social constructs and their effects on class and poverty is. So to me, you see different ends of a spectrum that result in the same outcome from our main characters in both of these movies. So I'm talking about the resourcefulness of our protagonists. And so in Bicycle Thieves, Antonio, maybe he didn't make some of the best choices about his use of resources, but he was also in a tough spot with, just everything going on. You could tell in that time frame and that location. But in Parasite, we see the protagonist almost on the opposite side of this spectrum. They're almost abusing the resources they have. It starts right in the beginning with the fumigation. So let's take what's paid for by someone else to do something else, to take care of a different problem. We're going to use it for our advantage. And the use of the computers to forge documents instead of doing anything else, applying to school. They're forging documents, stealing the rich food from the home. Or when they're in the buffet, eat all you want here, and they don't even belong to this driver's cafeteria. Mm-hmm. So in both situations, though, both parties end up on the bottom. So you had one side that was taking full advantage and even abusing what they had given to them, and then you had the other side that either couldn't recognize what was given to them, or giving it away, or just wasn't aware of the resources he did have. And in both cases, it didn't matter. They both ended up in the same place, and that was on the bottom of society, stuck in poverty. And the effect of social constructs on the lower classes' mindsets is something I think is shown in both of these films as well. Trying to live like the rich before having the actual ability. So in Bicycle Thieves, there's, that meal over there is going to cost this much money to eat, and we'd have to make this much in order to afford it. But we're going to order it anyway, even though I may not have a job. And then you have the family in Parasite coming to the home while the family's out camping and just raiding the fridge and just eating whatever they want from the family, including dog food. And so the idea of building quick wealth or spending immediately with no long-term sustainability, that's in both movies. Yeah. And historical context or not, both movies show a relatable inescapability from the clutches of poverty and class, even to today. Because we could bring this conversation over to Florida Project, and you continue to see similarities from our part of the world. And, that movie is 2017. So a few years ago, but I would say relatively modern, right?
Yeah.
And the poor and impoverished almost being conditioned to stay where they are. Cycles of family replacing themselves. Haley pretty much conditioning Mooney how to live the way she is. So families replacing themselves and tasting some of the experiences of the higher class before resetting at the bottom of their own class. So in Florida Project, literally, again, like the other two movies, literally tasting some of the good life before returning back. So you had the hotel buffet scene.
They were stealing the wristbands or something like that. Didn't they steal wristbands in order to get into the casino? Or into the casino. Get into the hotel?
Hotel?
Yeah, I thought they had stole wristbands in order to get into the hotel in order to eat from the buffet there.
Well, either way, though, they're there incorrectly.
Yes.
Not where they're supposed to be.
Right.
And get sent back to where they belong shortly after.
Right.
So I'll pause there, see what you guys, what I've said, what you have in mind. Hit me with your thoughts on this. Going back to Bicycle Thieves.
I'll say this though: in every one of these movies, your characters are, if they're smart, they're doing it in like a scam, a scam or hustle type of way. If they're not, if they're trying to do it the right way, they're just not smart about how they're doing it. So I kind of feel like every time we have a character that's in this or that they're trapped, there's a reason that they have that they're still there.
Yeah.
It's not like it's in none of these movies is it the smart, resourceful person trying to do it the right way and then getting kicked back down. It's there's something in their character. Either it's their, like Ricci's was just, I think it was his mindset. He was already like, well, I'm just going to do this. Like he had so many things working against him on top of him himself not being the best person to advance. Like you could put him anywhere. He's not getting much better. Even if let's say he was middle class, he had more options to himself. He was not going to advance himself much further. He had just the mindset of someone who's going to stay right where he's at. Haley was a scumbag. I don't know, but
still no love for her.
No love for her. They built a character who I was like, okay, who's going to use and trick and steal from everybody around her to try to maintain her lifestyle. Nothing she was doing was getting any better, and everyone around her was just kind of enabling that mentality and that ability. I'm like, she's not trying to be better for the daughter. She's creating another person. She's creating another herself. And in, what's the last one? And in Parasite, they have characters who are scamming, who are lying, who are cheating, and as soon as they get into the house, they raid everything that's there. The people who had lived there before were like, hey, we at least treated them with respect. We didn't touch the food until they were gone. And we would go out, we'd make sure we were clean. Like it showed the one image of them going out and drinking tea and just kind of watching the sun. Like we had shown respect to them. Mm-hmm. They knew Mr. Park was taking care of them, even though he didn't know they were there, and they were respectful of him. Mm-hmm. And so they were mad at him for taking from them.
That's a very Eastern philosophy too, to show that respect, that piety.
Like I know that I'm leeching off this guy, but I'm giving him the respect that he deserves.
A good symbiotic relationship. I am a parasite, but I'm taking. But
yes, but I'm and you know what? He made sure he turned on the lights for him every time he came in, and like he was thankful for the position he had.
Yeah,
where those people came in and were like, oh, we got this grand idea for the future, and they're gonna try to take everything instead of being. They got jobs, well-paying jobs, taking care of this family, and they had no respect and no thankfulness for that spot that they were in.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think no sustainability either, which calls to they're not going to escape poverty because they will be reset.
Right.
Because even from the beginning, Min was like, I need someone to do this while I'm gone.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm going to come back.
Mm-hmm. And he was even going to date the girl too, right?
Yeah, that was his plan.
He had a plan.
Was to
and
marry
like we
her
said,
when she goes
cyclical and trying to replace, because the son was like almost verbatim stealing this guy's plan.
Yep.
I'm going to go to university, and then I'm going to marry this girl when she's of age. And then, whatever else the Min was doing, that's what he was going to be doing.
Yeah. So it's not that they were just in the lower class, but they're in a lower class, and the way they're going about it, it's going to keep them there.
And the thing is, too, you compare that to the other, the husband and wife who are happy to be there. And so you kind of you're rounding out this class, this poverty, this mindset, where you have one family that isn't using the right mindset to get out because they're scheming and they're doing things illegally. And then you have another family that's not going to escape because of their mindset. They're happy to be where they are. Just being at the very bottom with the very minimal, they don't even mind if he doesn't see the sun ever, So I thought I was...
They were aware she was eating for two, but they never questioned her.
Yeah, so when we were watching it, me and Tin Man looked at each other where they said, "Oh, the only complaint I had was that she ate for two."
Now I got a question for you guys about. I think about like Ricci and the Kims and the Florida Project. I have a rank of my respect for their state. When I say respect for their state, like I believe they're doing the best they can comparatively to the other two. Rank them 1, 2, or 3.
I would rank Ricci at the top.
Okay.
Because he is trying to do best. He's not making the wisest choices.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like that might be out of his ability. Like he doesn't know how to go any better.
He doesn't look like he's trying to hurt anybody.
The only time that he steps out of the lines of doing what's legal or what's the right thing he should be doing, he steals the bike and gets caught right away. Mm-hmm. Then you have the Kim family.
Yeah, I mean that's the generalization. I just call them all the.
That's fine. Like the Kim family, where they're offering service to this family in ways that they could do it where everyone's fine, where everyone's happy with the relationship. It could be symbiotic.
Yeah.
But then they step over the line, literally, like
right.
metaphorically over the line,
That's
and where
it's so metaphorical.
It's so metaphorical.
Yeah.
And then I'd rate Haley at the bottom because I just don't like Haley at all. I got no love for Haley.
How did you phrase this question again?
Rank them as far as
so how they're
respect?
using their.
Did you want to use it as respect-wise?
I think that was it. I just think to myself, like, I think the question was like, rank them like as far how much. Again, I think respect was the word, right? Like, how much you respect their state, their station, and their
like
approach.
if they're using
in
the
their
best
approach.
of their situation,
like how much parasitic they are being.
I guess maybe, but like I think what I'm trying
because I know that we got a lot of flack for how we talked about Ricci.
You get it from me, but I just want to see like because I think this family's scumbags.
I think they are scumbags that could have been okay. Like
Well, that's why I want to hear your
Yeah.
actual phrasing as to what you're asking me.
Right. I guess as far as like
Because if you want to relate it to our own culture in the U.S., you might see the person buying video games with their benefits card or something at Walmart, or you might see them.
they got to have Jordans or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, like so to me though, I have less disdain for the person that needs that tiny escape. Even like the meal to the kid, it's an escape. It's an escape.
I feel like that
you got a crappy life.
We can give him flack for using that money, but the state he's in is so desperate. He's thinking this might be my last time getting a meal for us, so let's screw it. Let's order up. That's kind of how I felt when he was
like
in. I still want to hear your phrasing though on what this question is. Is it who we have the least disdain for, or is
let's do it that way.
Who are we most relatable to?
Let's do it the least disdain for. Rank them 1, 2, 3. Who have the least disdain for?
Empathetic for
Ricci.
them.
That's probably I have the least disdain for Ricci.
And then yours was the Kims, and then Haley.
Mm-hmm.
I think
So,
I
same
think there's a
question
clear top choice is Ricci because he's at least trying to do things the right way, but he's just so, I guess I don't want to say maybe ignorant, but like not aware of how desperate other people are too. So when someone steals his bike, he says, "Hey, I'm trying to do things the right way," But the other two, I think, are clear. You could just kind of toss them off the cliff, and they're going to land in the same spot here in terms of the ranking.
Yeah.
Because the Kim family just doing things illegally.
They
Don't care who
they're doing it they're trying to be smart and tricky. They even like it just comes to mind when the daughter is going to meet them for the first time. They do a little Jessica or Ohio. Blah, blah, blah. They have a little phrase that they try to remember so that they remember their scam.
Right.
I gotta remember
right.
the hustle. Okay,
That's true.
and they could have been okay. Just go to work. They could have been okay, but as soon as they got the chance, they just, hey, let's drink all their booze and go like,
Yeah,
they eat all their food. Like,
I guess I
come
ask
on.
you guys this question because I weight things character wise a lot more than even the outward. So here's what I mean by that. Haley gets a lot more grace from me because I don't know her backstory. I don't know what got her to that place. She might have had an upbringing of. She might have been sexually abused. She might have been neglected. There's some hallmarks there in her life that tell you that she's had a rough road.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree with that.
So until I have that information, I have a hard time putting her under this family who willfully scams. Just almost like the whole thing's a scam. The whole, and it's to me there's a malice there that maybe it's not felt, but I perceive
think
that
that,
malice.
yeah.
Well,
Like
I
as
mean,
if-
it's in the title, Parasite.
Yeah.
It's like this rich family is naive. They deserve to be used, or you deserve to be tricked.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, hey, look how naive they are. And they're like, well, she's only nice because she's rich. That's the only reason she's nice.
I'd be nice if I were rich.
nice if I was rich.
Right. Remember that line right there. Yeah. So I mean, when I see them, and they're trying to better themselves, but there's like a conniving plan, almost like from the dad's get going. He just wants what's best for his family too, but it's almost like they all hatch this plan. Like, even like the life of that driver who is ruined by the sexual, the rumor there. That's that's premeditated murder, not murder, but that's
Yeah.
that is extortion at very least, and I feel like in the discussion tonight and in last week, we were able to examine the family in Parasite in a way that is.
Well, I think you see them I'm going to use one of your words, macro instead of micro.
Yeah, right.
So you see the way the filmmaker does Parasite, you see different angles of these social constructs and these families and the class and the poverty. But in Bicycle Thieves, you're following one character and their experience over the course of one day.
Right.
So I think that's one of the big differences too.
Sure.
But I want to point out too, because I think we can all agree we would empathize most with Ricci.
Yeah.
I know we gave him a lot of flack in our.
Well,
what is it called?
I think also as three fathers, though, when a child needs parenting, it can't all just be rainbows and flowers. Sometimes they need the encouragement and the tough wording, maybe, or hey, let's go. We gotta pick it up. Like, come on, I expect more of you. Is kind of the mindset. So when you see this character struggling, and it's like, come on now. Like, I don't want to say like tough love, but it's kind of like I expect more from you because I want to see you succeed. Mm-hmm. And Ricci, you made another dumb decision. Like, come on now. Like, pick it up. Let's go.
That's as being a dad with children, struggling with money. I've been in the exact same spot, and I think we all have, where it's like, okay, I gotta go pull my shit together because the family needs me right now. Food's tight, money's tight, but I gotta find a job, and I gotta make sure I'm taking care of the family because there's times in our life, and we're for the most part I can tell we're doing okay now, but there's times when we were younger where it's like, No, if I can work overtime, if I can find a side job, if there's a house that needs to be painted,
If I can borrow $50 from James,
borrow $50.
seriously, whoever that is, Tin Man.
I like I've watched my grandma. Like I took a job as a home care aide to watch Lum in the last few years of her life, just so that I had some money to pay bills. I was going to school on the student loans just to use that to buy food for the house.
Been there.
You know, like I'm still paying them because that's what I needed to get by. That's what I needed to use to pay to get by.
Right.
I painted a cousin's garage or did flooring for someone. I go, text to aunties, text to uncles, text whoever, let them know. Hey, if they need help building, fixing, whatever, I'll do it because that's what's going to get kids a birthday present. You know?
Oh, yeah.
We've been in that spot. And then to see Ricci, okay, man, this is your time. Be dad. You got to be superhero right now. And I feel like he's like, okay, he dropped the ball again. Oh, that's unfortunate. He's in unfortunate spots, and then again, he drops the ball. At least watch your kid while you're crossing the street. Now.
That's the part.
The bare minimum you can do is just keep your kids safe now crossing the road.
That's the part there that I got angry with him was even when his kid fell and like he's sitting there dabbing himself off his sweat.
And
then he throws the hand cam and says, "Wipe your knee off."
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
He asked. First of all,
what
what happened after almost getting hit? Well, Dad, almost getting hit by a car, then falling to
Fell
my
in
knee.
the rain.
Yeah.
On the road.
And the boy sounds like every bit an adult.
I fell.
Like, you know, my ranking would probably be super weird because the worst is the Kims. Watching this and like I felt like, you know, I get their desperation. I get they're all pretty decent people, but they're premeditated, kind of their angle. I think maybe it's close to home. You see some of that, where it's like, oh, well, here's what I need to do. I got to open. So if I can open this shop here, I got an angle here. If I can, you know, and I see. Oh, they did it. See how they did it? That's what I got to do. I just got to get in there. I got the same. I know the same people. I got to, and it's like a craftiness to circumvent the system. You know what I mean? Rather than like playing by the rules and just engaging the grind. I guess. I give, again, don't. I give Haley more credit than maybe I should, more than the Kims even, because I don't know her backstory. And she, God help me, she's doing everything she can to
burn bridges, to make enemies,
to feed her kid, to provide the best way she can for her kid.
Willem Dafoe is going out of his way to make sure she's taken care of and the kids are taken care of, and she's still fighting with everybody who's around her.
Why though?
Well, I mean, we can ask the same question about the Kim family though. Why? I don't know their backstory either.
Yeah,
something could have happened. I don't know the history.
But we give them a lot of grace though. Well,
I'm not giving them any extra grace. But no, they're scumbags. I agree.
Like, I don't know what's going on in South Korea.
Yeah,
I don't know what the economic climate is there. I don't know social anything going on over there. All I see is what's on the screen.
Yeah.
And so I try to with all movies, so all three movies, I try to go with what you're presenting me with is what I'm analyzing. So if Ricci makes a decision on screen, that's what I'm analyzing.
Right.
If
So we can't say
alienates these people, that's what
Haley
I'm
has a history
analyzing.
of SA. We don't know that. It's not on the screen, so we're not going to imply.
Yeah.
Or well, I'm not going to imply. Well, we could.
I almost feel like
you can't have a character like that without something, right?
I almost feel like we have a duty not to watch them in a vacuum, though, because they're not presented in a vacuum.
That's your perception. You can do that. You can absolutely.
We all have access. You look at the internet for every movie we do. You have access to all of it.
Yeah, but I try not to. But you can though.
You blatantly didn't try to on this last one. Why?
What on this one? This Parasite?
You would have with the Bicycle Thieves.
That's because
all of a sudden this is not in play. To me, it's like
no. You can put it in play. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm not for that one. Just for this argument. No, I mean.
Because sometimes it feels like that.
I would assume
like, we're not going to use that because it makes too much sense and it doesn't back up my point. I'm like, well, we've used it in other parts of the episodes and previous series where we've included some back knowledge on there. Can I give examples? Probably not right now.
I think we didn't do it too much with Ricci because there wasn't more in his character that would push for that. Where we can say, Haley, the way her situation looks, if just any human being in that situation, you almost automatically, were your parents drug addicts? Was there sexual assault
Yeah,
in
in my
history?
head,
Well,
that's all
part
I
of
can
that
think
comes
of.
out. That's the only American movie in this trio of movies that we're
It's the
talking
only
about.
modern American
true.
movie.
So we can relate and say,
English
we can relate and say, I've seen this person before.
Yeah.
And I can guess what
and
their background is.
I think that's why I was like I had such a strong reactions, because I could literally met this person.
I think we all did. It's funny because I think Vaz had to reel us both in on her right at the
That's
start.
true.
Because
Yeah.
when I first
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
it, I was like, I can't watch this. This is too close to yours. Maybe the urban. Mine was reservation. Like, there's so many moms like that. That
Well,
I'm like,
I would see these people, working as a nurse. I'll see people like that all the time. I don't have any background knowledge on 1948 Rome. I also don't have any knowledge on 2019 South Korea.
I also don't think
So in those two cases, all I can do is
What's presented.
ingest what's on screen. In Florida Project, I know a little bit about what's going on. Not that much, but I know a little bit about what's going on in parts of our nation and parts of our economy and all that. So I can connect some dots there. Because I don't have any knowledge on either of these times or places. I don't want to put anything there that I don't know the full story. Post, what little I do know, you brought up, post World War II. I mean, that type of country led by that type of regime, of course, you're going to have issues. But I don't know what's caused by what. I don't know, anything going on there. So I don't want to infer anything in that instance because I like I said, I just don't know what's going on. But what I do know is how universal the topic they are discussing with poverty, how that connects to Parasite, connects to Florida Project. And those central themes of those movies is so universal that even me not knowing any cultural context in those two foreign movies can see, hey, I know these situations these people are in, and I can see Haley in the same situation they're in. And these are countries, cultures, couldn't be more different from one another. And so that's why I picked these two movies, and, essentially why I said, right now I can't put any historical context in Bicycle Thieves, because that would take me doing research on 1948 Rome, Italy, to figure out where these people are in. And if I do that, I'm focusing more specifically on the economic climate and culture of that place rather than the universal topic of poverty and class. And that being the connecting piece between all of these. And, I guess probably the point I'm trying to make is how poverty and class is portrayed, especially in film. You can go across world, across time to see that it's an ongoing problem and maybe one we might not ever solve. But you can see that exists everywhere and anytime.
it's an enduring issue.
So that's
Global 10 students, Regents takers. That's what an enduring issue is.
But I wanted to bring up, though, because after we reviewed Bicycle Thieves, I just kind of did a little bit. And after I already formed my thoughts on Parasite, I looked a little bit into, Bong Joon-ho, because he also did Snowpiercer. And I know you have yet to see that.
I have yet to.
But another huge commentary on social construct. And so I was interested, why does he keep focusing on that as his recurring theme in all of his movies, or at least the ones I've seen? And I get fragments here, but I see the term late capitalism show up. And I don't know if you have any knowledge on that, but I did some digging, and there's a period that like I said, I did something. I'm picking up fragments of what this is, but I guess a lot of people relate one of the big time periods for late capitalism to be late 1940s, and of course, what takes place in late 1940s, but our Bicycle Thieves movie. So, K-Max, I don't know. Do you know like late capitalism, the concept there?
Well, just all I know about it is that there's like a phrase from the Communist Manifesto that talks about it. That Karl Marx talks about how he uses the word parasite. That capitalism at its core has the trappings of work harder, get more. Has the trappings of this is a dream. This is the dream scenario. But late capitalism focuses on the fact that it's found that it's a parasitic relationship that the wealthy capitalist only thrives off of the back of the proletariat, the working class. I don't know much more about it than that. I just know that is the foundations of it.
Okay. I think because the perception I was getting on it was that it was kind of highlighting when capitalism starts to fall apart because it's a flawed system, is kind of how I'm perceiving what I'm reading about it. But yeah, just the idea that Bong Joon-ho is critiquing that, and one of the time periods I see of it happening is late 40s. And so to me, very interesting that, again, the way these movies connect to each other is, I mean, I feel like we could talk for hours on how these actually, you see the similarities between the stories, the people, the constructs, and how they're failing, or I mean, I don't even know if I would say failing, because like I say, they're there to keep taking advantage of those below you. Mm-hmm. So if that's their purpose, they're
thriving.
They're thriving. They've always been thriving.
They're thriving so well. and you see, I can see so clearly in three guys that are as like-minded as I know on the planet, how hard it is politically for folks to sit down at a table and understand a similar issue and see it and say, here's what we're looking at here, and how do we solve this? And you have three very like-minded people who, I think, if we looked at poverty a certain way, we'd probably look at it very similarly in a lot of ways, but we'd have a hard time forming policy, even though we're almost poor guys, almost exactly alike in a lot of ways because of a little minor nuance. And so we expect our leaders that go to Washington with huge differences and huge background differences, if they sat through the podcast with us and looked at these films and looked at these characters. Because you could do a whole social experiment with just these three movies, with these three people, and say, who deserves the help? Mm-hmm. Who would take to reform more? Who would accept? Who would be better? Who would move? Who would be more socially mobile? Okay? Who would access this? Who would use it more wisely? Some people might say it's the industrious ones. It's the one who needs the help the most. It's Haley and her kids. We need to rescue them. Some would say, what's this poor son of a gun? This guy who seems he's an affable.
He wouldn't know what to do with it if he had it.
Yeah, exactly. Just go buy more pasta. But
See, that's what he was doing when he first called his name. He was burying his talents in the sand. That's literally what he was doing.
He was hiding them. He
didn't want to lose them.
I love the conversation. I don't want our listeners to ever think that. I think that you have to sometimes engage conversations that are either outside of your wheelhouse, outside of your perception, outside of your comfort zone, to get not even to the other side of them, to even understand a perspective that's other than your own. And I feel like sometimes in politics and even in conversations, sometimes we fall short of getting to a real cool precipice where there might be some real change, and then we don't want to lean into the conflict. And I feel safe leaning into any conflict with you guys because I love you guys. That sounds so corny, but it's true. But
love you too.
I know.
Couldn't have said that any creepier.
Yeah, no.
They're over too.
But how do we encourage people to engage the conversation and lean into conflict a little bit? If they don't see an example of it anywhere, we're not seeing it on the national stage politically. We're not seeing it on a global stage. It's like you see one thing happen yesterday, one thing happened the day before. You get one entire part of the population yeah, we told you you're idiots. And there's a whole other group saying, how dare you, that's so unpatriotic. And then you get someone else in the office in that fancy white colored house. And all of a sudden, same people were saying, "You guys are idiots." They're like, "See, look at this genius idea." And now the other group's saying, "Oh, you're stupid now."
And I mean, we're not saying one way or another we're not a political podcast, but we're just saying, hey, at least, people are allowed to have different opinions.
Yeah.
And, if you could at least just see things from a different point of view, or accept that people can see things from their own point of view.
And good people, by the way. That's what I always contend. It's like, I feel like whenever I'm put in that position with different folks, because there's folks that, because of my belief system maybe, or maybe because of my skin color, or maybe because of my non-political affiliations, maybe I get seen as the outsider or as the other side. And I wish they would get to know me to say, well, he does have some different viewpoints. He is pretty dogmatic about the whole belief system thing. But he's a kind person. He's a good person. He's trying to do better and trying to know better and trying to, 53. And I feel that I know more. I'm closer now than I was at 52.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'm closer than I was at 51. And is there still silly things? Is there still some hard-headedness? Yes, because we're human beings and we have blind spots. But so it's like, I think to myself, give grace to the other folks all the time, because we're all learning on we're on be all native here. We're on a path. We're all on our path, right? We're on different journeys, and we're all getting where we need to be. My goal is I was hoping to make it to 40. Did that. So it's like, okay, I got no more goals. I got to reassess now. So I made it to 50 by God's grace, and now I'm at 53, and yeah. It's always just it comes back to thankfulness. All of it comes back to 100% thankfulness, and learning the perceptions of other people makes me better, because at very least it helps me understand them better. At very most, it helps me have not empathy. I can not walk in their shoes, but I can understand what it might be like to walk in their shoes. Mm-hmm. And so, with that, I think there's never going to be a character that, we might have the devil's advocate or something. I'm like, you know what? He's not all horrible. He's not all evil. And you'd be like, this is the devil we're talking about. And I'm like, okay, maybe he is. But I always think there's something redeemable about everybody. And that is something that I know we all see, but I always feel like I always go too far for that. For the affable nitwit. I'm like, because I think to myself, I'm like, there was a movie made on me.
So, but we need that perspective.
Yeah.
For a conversation like this to happen, we need someone that will always go to bat for that character. But shout out to our season 1 episode, Upon Further Review, that kind of talks about being able to see things from someone else's point of view and being okay with that.
Go listen to it, everybody. Crying out loud. Tell your friends.
Start from the beginning.
Start from the first one.
It's worth it, I swear.
It's a real humdinger.
It's worth it to go in order, I swear.
What's next?
What's next? This one I didn't let you guys know about because it was an observation I thought of within the last couple days. So it's the use of art.
Say fart.
I'm talking about Tin Man.
I hope that was picked up.
On cue, he wore his brown pants today. So, art. Man, how much air is in your body tonight?
These are all Vaz. None of these are me. I don't know why you keep saying it's me.
Cutting Phyllis's head off with a chainsaw. The Office. That's
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so art. Both Parasite and Bicycle Thieves have some sort of slight allusion to the arts. In Bicycle Thieves, the art we see comes in the form of advertisements, posters put up by Ricci, ads for the common folk of the city to find things to spend their money on, or aspire to. In Parasite, we see two forms of art. Subtle, yes, but in the home, the family's putting together these food boxes. I don't know if it's for pizza or if it's just some other form of food, but they're ads for some sort of food delivery. So what we see of art at the lower level in Parasite, and then also like Bicycle Thieves, is just advertisement, not free thought, not freestyle art of any kind. It's more just a purpose to sell to the lower class. And then we see the rich home in Parasite that has the art created by the son hung on the wall. To me, a luxury afforded by time and money in this case, and resources. He's got the pencils and the crayons or whatever medium he's using. And there's a third movie again that I'm going to bring into this, not Florida Project, but Children of Men. So you may recall there's a scene with Nigel, who has hoarded all the art in the world for the day when social structure would return and art would mean something again. So art in that case only has meaning because we give it meaning, much like any other social structure we include in this discussion. So when you relate that to the rich home with the art, it only has meaning because they give it meaning. And when you talk about social structure, you talk about everything. You talk about the mindsets being controlled by the social structure because it's the people that give this structure meaning and power. So that was my little observation of art in these movies.
Well, he had a painting of a chimpanzee?
It's a self-portrait.
Ah, I see it.
So metaphorical. But so we'll wrap up here. The last little bit I have. I think both movies have a similar ending as well. So Bicycle Thieves saw Ricci and his son merge back into the crowd of the impoverished, right? Almost like returning back to the soil. When the son, and in Parasite, when the son puts the rock back into the pond, to me it was symbolically quite similar to the Ricci's disappearing into the crowd, kind of letting go of the dream to move up in society or wealth. And in Parasite, Tin Man, this kind of relates to, I'm going to merge our thoughts here. Because my thought is, there is no escaping poverty. To me, it's kind of like a fisherman's net, right? Overall, this thing's going to catch this many fish. There might be a couple that escape, but for the most part, they're in this net and they're not going anywhere. Yeah. You can move all around in it, maybe, but you're stuck in this net. And like I said, maybe some fish escaped out the side or weren't fully in it to begin with. And those people, those fish, maybe they make it to where, they make it in society. But the rest of them stuck right there. And so you talked about people trying to do it right. And I would contend that even if you did it right, you ain't going anywhere for the most part.
As far as the theme of the movies.
I'm going to relate that, though, because I'm going to use examples from our movies to support this theme. So when the son, oh my gosh, I can't remember these characters' names.
Oh, what's in here?
Ki Woo?
Yeah.
Yeah. He comes up with the idea at the end when he recovers from his head injury, right? All right, I applied to college. I'm going to get enough money that I can walk through that door and just let you up out of the cellar. And, that home will be ours. And I'm going to get this education. And all while he's doing this voiceover, we get the same camera movement that we got in the beginning. Going down, 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 down. Here's these prison bars of a home. Down, 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 down. Even below the surface, below this window, right? This window of even opportunity. Down, 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 surrounded by cement and walls. We see Ki Woo. So to me, tells me he ain't going anywhere. At least not right now. These aspirations to do it right, go to school, get an education, and get a job wealthy enough that he can afford this house are all just dreams, because right now he is stuck in this prison of poverty and class. Because, like I said, it's the same exact camera movement as we saw in the beginning. He's in the same spot his dad was in. And you talk about cycle replacing one another. So the father replaced the guy in the hidden basement, and now the son's replacing his father in the same home that they grew up in. So with those examples, like I said, social structure is there to keep, seemingly according to these movies,
right.
Social structure is there to keep the poor right where they are, so the rich can stay right where they are. And so that's how I saw those endings.
I would agree, because the ending shows the son in the courtyard of the rich house, and them letting kind of the father come out, and he hugs his son, and then it shows him back at the other house, and it's like, oh, that was just a dream.
And that's all it is.
And that's all it'll be. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So no matter how these characters try to escape their social and economic positions, it's not going to work. You can throw Haley in here from Florida Project. She's not escaping either. And if no matter what you do, no matter how you try to do it, if you can't escape, to me, if that's not a sign that social constructs are there, and indeed institutions are there to control the lower class, I don't know what is. So that's
great.
That's my little conclusion there.
I agree with all of it. Not that I agree with it in life. I think these movies are exactly trying to say
Tin Man. Nay. Yes man. He is the yes man now.
No. Here's why. Bong Joon-ho, worth $30 million. It's in South Korea. They can just look to the north and go, okay, you can all be the same. I'll be under a tyrannical rule of communism, and you guys got to escape and have no. They're dirt poor. Sure, you guys all want to be the same. I don't know. They're like, well, let's all bash capitalism. Because there's disparity. Because there's more ability to be mobile. We've all come from real dirt poor families. Like I know that my family's been dirt poor. We've all worked our butts off to try to get somewhere, and I feel like we're all in comfortable spots. You know, we're better than my family, better than the family before. But these movies want to.
Well, you talk about mindset too, because your mindset's different, and guess where you are now?
100%. That's true. I did try to do things the right way. I did work hard, but I also
did prostitution.
I mean, Haley's going to bite every hand that feeds her, and guess what? In America, she's going to keep getting more hands. Are just going to keep showing up. They're going to bite. She's going to bite every hand that feeds her, and the hands are going to keep showing up. Regardless, I know there's probably histories and issues and whatnot that she's gone through.
Never mind, he's the Tin Man.
I'm still here.
If he wasn't the
Don't worry,
Tin Man.
South Korea. You can't just go to the 38th parallel and just see what real. Oh, you want to make everyone equal. You want to see what real poverty looks like. That's fine. Fine, South Korea. Ooh, congratulations. Congratulations on that. You're so brave. You're so brave.
He's back with the vengeance. I have a final thought on
Tin Man, I think it's like titanium now.
It's Iron Man.
Iron.
It's Diamond Man.
Diamond Man.
What is the hardest element?
I'll say Diamond.
That's all right. That's too far. No, the idea that even it's almost like a learned. People in poverty kind of almost learn romantic. They romanticize the neighborhood, the state, That's where I'm from. I'm from the hood. That's from the neighborhood. I'm from the res. That's real res of you. It's almost like this badge of honor. Like, can't escape it. Can't get out. Can't move past it. So now I have to romanticize it as something good. Like I want to be a part of it. And yet you give any of them opportunity. That's why things like the Haudenosaunee Promise and things like that, and the scholarships and stuff, and like the college rates on the reservation. Those are real opportunities that people are taking now. Like our kids are like. They have these opportunities now where their world is wide open compared to. I remember like just a couple years after I graduated, the Haudenosaunee Promise came out, and I thought, well, how nice for everybody else. and even like NIPA and all these little scholarships, which is great. I mean, I'm not the worm that pulls anyone down. I want them to keep climbing up on my shoulders if need be. Go, 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 and I want to be your biggest cheerleader. People that go, but there's opportunities now, and really smart, hardworking, kind, caring people help build these programs. And like I think of the people at Syracuse too, like the folks there. You know, the ladies. I can't remember her name. The one lady that was there.
Blue Wolf?
Different people that were there to like help.
I still get her
And even
emails.
like your Uncle Ray at NCCC for years, and my mom at NCCC and with the Department of
Jamie,
my sister Jamie.
big shout out to Jamie.
Like so many folks that just. You look at our college rates. When out in 1990 when I graduated, it was, I think 7% of the graduating seniors, because I think there was like 20 something of us. 70% were college bound, even thinking that it was a possibility. In the last 10 years from Niagara Wheatfield, over 90% of those kids are going on to either the military, vocational school, or college. So the expectation now is you're going to go. Where are you going to college?
Yeah.
Not you're going to college.
right?
It's so where are you going to college? And so like, I mean, it's a little plug for like, instead of learning to just be content with, and I can't say just be, I love my neighborhood. You know, you just love it. Instead of content with just romanticizing it and saying, that's just who I am, that's who we are. It's great. Nothing wrong with accepting your community and all. But if you want more, if you want to do something else, if you want to move to the city, if you want to be a homeowner, and a landowner, homeowner, or a business owner, you have those opportunities more so now than we did when I was a kid. We have more opportunities right now. Maybe they look different. Maybe there was opportunities then, but you certainly could get a factory job easier back then.
Yeah.
With maybe a high school education. Now you got to have a bachelor's or a master's to get a factory job, a good job.
Right.
I guess shout out to the folks who are out there in these neighborhoods, designing programs that are actually like contributing to institutions that are proven successes. And shout out to the people who are sacrificing and delaying that gratification a little bit, and making it happen, and engaging that mechanism to get out of it, to break that cycle, and it's hard. I think it's hard.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think you've seen a shift of change in mindset of people and communities. And it takes more than just the individual to do that. Mm-hmm. You mentioned our community in Tuscarora Nation, and more people going to college, I feel like, than ever. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't just this collection of people that independently thought, oh, I should go to school if I'm going to make anything of myself. It took people and institutions and groups and leadership to make that happen. And even and it took people that don't live on the nation either. Like you mentioned, the Haudenosaunee Promise. It took that being created to get some people out and get them out of the situations they're in.
I can think of 5 or 6 people in my life, just my life, that took advantage of that and have made my life richer and better and challenged me to grow. Those kids, and there's more kids coming through that. And there's a huge shout out to those folks behind that. It's not a small thing they've done.
Right.
I mean, because every family that gets changed, you know what I mean? That's, it's almost Schindler's List. Like, there's hope. There's generations now, not just generations of poverty and shame and of survival, but of thriving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So hopefully, in 80 more years, we're seeing a difference in, less movies to critique the failures of institutions and more about seeing how people took advantage of social constructs and institutions to get to better places.
That's so cool.
So.
And they'll still listen to this as a reference.
Yeah.
It all started with these 3 clowns.
These three billionaires
I don't think that'll ever be the
started
case.
where they were.
These three media moguls who redefine what macro means. The three of them, macro money, baby.
Redefined what a trope. The group that redefined what a trope was.
That's right.
You heard it here first, folks.
Absolute best, man.
All right. Well, that's all. That's our chapter on poverty and class in movies. I assure you, our outlook on actual life is a little bit lighter.
A little more forgiving. I'm being harsh on films, but
They are fictional things.
these are fictional.
unless
films,
they're
yes.
documentaries, and we'll be able to look at that in a bit too. All right, guys. Any closing comments?
Love these things. You know, sometimes, and I think maybe the audience can hear. It's being a dad and whatnot, running a house and stuff like that, and working. We work a lot. High demanding jobs, high stress jobs, and sometimes of the year are a little bit more stressful. And you know, so I think it's important. I think it's important to learn the art of carrying each other. Even a silly podcast like this, if we can encourage you to look out for each other, because you know you have tough weeks, and it's usually people that you don't expect would be having a tough week. You're like, man, they're going through something here that I have no idea, and just give them a little grace. Give your neighbor, give your colleague a little grace, because there's just bumper sticker stuff, and it's so a little corny. But everybody's going through something. Everybody's battling something you have no idea about. So toss a little grace their way, and you'd be surprised at the difference it can make. You might be the person that that keeps them going, that encourages them. So it's free. Do it.
And if you need more thoughts of that, K-Max, another shout out to our. I think we talk about a little bit about that in our Christmas episode as well.
That's right.
About, you know,
A
treating
little
people
hope.
with grace. You don't know what everyone's going through, unless they're fictional characters. Then we know what they're going through.
Then you can see it. And you're like, I know exactly what you're going through.
All right, how about Iron Man over here?
Here we
Any
go.
other last words?
Respect.